By George, I think I've got it.
Hybrothetical Thinking.
I saw that Bigfoot walking across the screen and I thought to myself, wow, they are real.
I ask us all, is that really reasonable?
Hybrothetical Thinking.
My personal belief is that there is very compelling evidence that we may not be alone.
I'll show you a little of the evidence for it.
Hybrothetical Thinking.
Researchers at Stanford University School of Medicine have pioneered a cancer vaccine that eliminated all traces of cancer in mice.
You could find evidence of that, my friends. You could change the world.
Hybrothetical Thinking, a podcast for the hypothetical thinker.
Greetings, travelers, and welcome to Hybrothetical Thinking, a semi-forward podcast that explores the journey from probability all the way into Johnny's bedroom at night to watch him sleep before crawling into his butthole.
Hey!
Sorry, that was real weird.
And you started off so creepy. Hey,
I'm trying to stick to the tone of this spooky episode today.
Spooky?
Ooh, it's October. Ooh.
Halloween!
My name's Nick Floyd, and I'm joined by my creepy co-hosts, Taylor. Oh, sorry. I'm not reading your fucking name. This is off to a terrible start.
I'm Johnny Clark. We're not creepy, by the way. We're the farthest thing from creepy.
It just worked.
I don't know. I'm creepy sometimes, man. I've never actually been told that I'm creepy.
Taylor,
I'm not creepy. Why did I say that? I'm not creepy at all.
We're all lovable dudes.
Who, me? The way this works is either Taylor or the way this works, either Taylor or myself will do the research for our weekly episodes, and Johnny, sweet Johnny, the most handsome man on planet Earth.
Hey, stop that.
Goes into every episode completely blind.
Just fucking ruined that whole thing.
He goes in every episode completely blind, very similar to jack-o'-lanterns who haven't had their eyes carved out.
Oh, wow. That was really good.
Thanks. Meaning he has basically a pumpkin. I don't know why.
He's a pumpkin.
Well, they could have the mouth because I talk a lot.
I don't know why I did just say pumpkin.
Did you guys ever carve out pumpkins as kids?
Yes.
Ever? Fuck yeah, dude. I love pumpkin carving.
That's your thing? I mean,
it's the thing I do every October.
Do you like it?
Oh, it's a segue. Because when I was a kid, I would make the pumpkin, and I hate the way the face was. So I'd keep carving it out until it's a big fucking circle, and there's no face. It's just like a hole. Anyways,
it's just a lantern.
Stabbing. Guys, if you like pumpkins, be sure to subscribe to this podcast to assure that you get all of our episodes first. That's right. Hit the subscribe button, and you're going to get each episode the same time at 12:05 every Sunday night. That's right.
That was the hardest way to say that ever.
Sunday night or is it Monday morning?
Monday morning.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well,
I don't sleep, so it's nighttime for me.
It would be Sunday night somewhere, right?
Anywhere
the East Coast would be Sunday.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. The West Coast. Yeah, my bad. Shout out West Coast.
Johnny's like, California's on the west, on the East Coast.
North, South, East, and West.
How you guys, Taylor, how you doing?
Dude, guys, it's been a long freaking weekend, y'all. A really long weekend. I've been doing a lot of work. Actually, I got home from work tonight, and my bro had cooked some wings for the dang Georgia game. So I watched about 4 minutes of the Georgia game and ate some fried wings and some fried cheese sticks and got real fucking happy about it.
And now you're podcasting, not watching the Georgia game.
Now I'm podcasting. Well, we're winning. We're up by like 20 points. We're up by... It's 21-6, I think, right now. When last I saw, so
game over. Game over, man.
Yeah, game over, dude.
There's been way better comebacks than that. So,
Johnny, how you doing?
You guys,
I'm good, super good. Not a whole lot's changed. That's all, folks. Nick, how are you doing in your life and things?
You know, I'm real good. I'm real good. Things are going well. Your life is happening. It's my favorite month of the entire year. October is my favorite month.
Is your birthday in this month?
No, it's not.
Then why is it your favorite month? I feel like
I love October. I love all the spooky
October
stuff.
Yeah, he is into horror stuff.
I like the spookies. Yeah. I whip out my favorite Ryan Gosling album, Dead Man's Bones. I play it all month long to get my spooky on. So I'm in between that and the Monster Mash is what I listen to on the daily.
Monster Mash.
I have ragers at stoplights. I'm doing great.
You can catch Nick in your local stoplight just jamming out with the skeletons and Dracula in his car, like losing his mind to some spooky stuff.
I pretend they're there.
That's great.
I'm good.
I will say, I'm not sure if Nick was going to want to say this, but I want to point out, in the whole spirit of mystery and October and paranormal and whatever, this episode specifically has been the hardest for whatever anomaly reason to record, and you can touch on that a little bit.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Before Taylor jumps to the news, I will say, yes, this has been quite a difficult episode too. It's like something is telling us not to record it, and I've actually lost a little bit of sleep last night. Thinking about it, because this is a big one for me. But before we go any further, Taylor, why don't you give us the news?
I got some news to tell you guys. So this is going to highlight... this little new segment is going to highlight the city of Houston, Texas. It's going to highlight their city council as a bunch of cock-blocking buttholes.
1 second.
What do you know about Houston City Council, Johnny?
I was
Are you up on your
almost
Houston
there
City Council news
this weekend.
Oh yeah, you were going to go to Houston.
Synchronicity.
I was glad you did not go. Yeah, synchronicity rearing its beautiful face.
Yeah, I didn't go. I will be there next weekend, but I wasn't there this weekend, and I would have been. And what about assholes?
Did they kill a chupacabra again?
No, they didn't kill a chupacabra, man. I think that last thing was just a malnourished dog. What Houston City Council has done this past week is they have put an end. They have passed some bills, some ordinances that are going to prevent the United States' first brothel to feature adult love dolls.
What? Wait,
robotic or just...
Wait. You're saying there's going to be brothels that have love dolls implemented in them?
Dude, apparently in Toronto, there is already one of these that exists. What is this company's name? It's called Kinky's Dolls is the name of this store, I guess, in Toronto, and they're opening one in Houston. And they passed some ordinance saying that people in Houston can't make love to inanimate objects inside of a business. What the heck?
Isn't there so I was reading about this. Vice did a whole piece on this, and
on the real dolls or like the brothel part of it?
The doll brothels. So apparently this is some new thing. I think they're trying to do one in California. They're doing one in Texas, and I watched this whole piece about it where the brothels, that's what they're calling them because essentially it's the same service, but they're saying that it's essentially it's therapy in a way. They're trying to prevent essentially there's all these things that are basically they're trying to prevent, and by having the dolls, people can fulfill these fantasies.
Yeah, it's like an outlet, I guess.
Therapy.
Yeah,
it's really bizarre, but it was really interesting because the way they talked about it is they're it sounds wrong as fuck, but at the same time, it's helping people and also finding some balance between people who have sex addictions and different kind of feelings about stuff.
I would feel like the concept would be this is so out in the field, but if this is a medium to help people cope with things or take their frustrations out on something that
insecurities and stuff like that,
whatever it is, and not attack or harm humans or take out that frustration on somebody else, I'd say I'm all for it. That's very positive.
That was something they highlighted. Yeah.
I get what you're saying. That just seems pretty far-fetched. I'm not saying there isn't somebody who would benefit from some kind of a sex doll, whatever, aside from people just liking them, Maybe there's somebody out there who has some weird problem that this is going to be some outlet for them, but I don't know. I think it's kind of crazy. Why? Think about how good they would have to clean this thing. On a daily basis, dude, all the time. They'd have to clean the shit out of this thing all the time. I don't know, man. It's so weird.
So my thought is that that's the place that would know how to, though. It's not like this is some kind of normal toy factory. This place probably specializes and knows how to clean. This sounds nasty. Orifice, lubrication, and
right.
You want to think that, but have you guys ever worked in a restaurant? You see what goes on behind the scenes in a restaurant, you'll be like,
Yeah.
I'm not eating here ever again. So yeah, on the floor there, I'm sure it's like nice and tidy, and they advertise how much they clean everything. But back in the back, they're like, I told you, we can't be wasting all the soap and water. Use the one bucket, whatever. But I think it's really just a ploy to sell them, because apparently these things are thousands and thousands of dollars, and at these stores you can A, buy them, and B, you can customize them and all that stuff. And the other side of it is you can rent it there, I guess, to decide that that's the one that you want, and you like take it to a back room. It's so weird. Like what states are brothels? I didn't think brothels were like legal everywhere. I didn't know they were legal in Texas. I knew they were in Nevada. Yeah.
Back in high school, I was in something called Youth in Government, and we did this thing where every single state has this for some different schools. But,
tell me you were the fucking president.
No, my buddy was. But anyways, we would go to Lansing.
I would have voted for you.
We would go to the Capitol, and we'd vote on bills. My buddies made a brothel bill to legalize brothels, and we had multiple days at the House and Senate in Lansing, Michigan, deciding, and we passed it with flying colors, and then legislators crushed it. So we never passed it. But there are states that have it. So I very closely accused of this. Dude. Well, we tried. Right. It was funny. It was a funny thing.
Well, that like according to the piece on Vice I was reading too, apparently like the idea is that it's like taxing brothels, or like it's like taxing marijuana, because the brothels that are legal in Nevada, the women at the brothels actually rent the spaces out.
Okay.
So technically
What
they
space?
charge whatever, like the room space.
Okay.
And technically they can charge whatever they want, like whatever fee they want on their own, and they're basically private contractors essentially. So the government can't touch the money.
Okay.
So the whole idea is that for the longest time they were experimenting, like sex dolls were a thing, and they were experimenting with like robotic sex dolls. There was another piece on Vice as well, because they're an alternative news source, so they cover this kind of stuff, where there were robots, and the FDA and all that stuff would never approve it, because like male or female, you are having sex with something that is electronic.
This is the problem I have with this,
that'd be
though,
nasty.
is that I'm no woman, but I've seen and heard of many, you know what I'm going to there, many devices that are almost humanoids that are male bodies that women can use, and there's no fucking problem with that.
Well, there's the flip side to that on the male side. I mean, there's like comparable, toys or whatever on the male side that aren't a full body. You know what I mean? That, apparently these things are hundreds of pounds too. I don't know about hundreds of pounds, but like 100 pounds. They're heavy.
There are full male bodies. I have.
Oh, there's companies that make the male and female, and they sell them, like Taylor said, for thousands and thousands of dollars, and you can fully customize them. They ship them. They do all this stuff, and it's like a viable business. So now with the robotic brothels basically being completely dead, this is an option for people to open up their own businesses, to not only sell these dolls, but basically have a place that, in a way, it's kind of,
surplus for business?
What's the word I'm looking for? It's novelty.
Okay.
So the moment I read about the one in Toronto, it's novelty because there were apparently tons of people, like they were booked up for months, because even though people who aren't interested in that, because we're a curious race of people, instantly we go, okay, I want to be put in a room with that, and I just want to like see what's going on.
Nope.
Well, I mean, I wonder how much it costs. If it's cheap enough, it'd be cool just to be like, oh, I can at least see how cool this doll is. I'm sure it would look cool without having sex with it. Just be like, wow, wow, this is crazy looking, realistic, cool. I don't know. That'd be very boring. I don't know. I think it's a fucking crazy idea. I don't know if I would ever do it. I'm not. Did I see the Ryan Gosling flick?
No.
Is that the movie that?
Yeah, Lars and the Real Girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say, did you guys hear that there was a robot that came out that can memorize your name, last name, family's names, what they'd like their birthdays, like everything in your family tree, and talk to you?
Yeah.
You heard about that?
Yeah.
That shit is wild. Like, my girlfriend can't, I don't have a girlfriend, but my girlfriend couldn't do that, let alone a doll.
Right.
It's crazy. I don't know.
No one in my life remembers things.
It's crazy. Like, how can, like, there. What was it saying?
No, I said no one in my life remembers anything.
I do. I'm sorry. I don't hear.
Just joking. That was a joke.
They can just be like assholes.
How weird was that fucking movie though? I didn't see the whole movie, but Lars and the Real Girl, that's like creepy. I feel like that's unhealthy, and I don't know. I can't even justify it, to tell you the truth. I can't justify it. It seems crazy to me. Yeah. Heads up, people out there. This lag, we're dealing with a lag tonight, and it is coming into play here. It's distorting our conversation a little bit. I'm sorry, listeners.
The interwebs is not on our side tonight.
Saturdays, we're actually recording on a Saturday for not the first time, but I guess our internet activity, at least either in Ackworth, Georgia, or Spring Hill, Tennessee, won. The internets are flooded right now.
They are.
Probably because of the game, right?
Sure. Is there a game? It's a Georgia game. It's fucking our interwaves up.
It's football, y'all. There are hella games today.
This podcast is also sponsored by Future Monsters, a premier apparel store with pop culture and horror focus. Each product is handmade with quality materials, so not only does it look good, but it feels so good. No mass-produced cheap garbage here, with designs inspired by King Kong, the Wolfman, and much more. These shirts are a must for every occasion, whether it be nightclub, metal shows, weddings, and of course, our favorite, podcasting. Head over to futuremonsters.com and enter the code HYBRO, that's a capital HYBRO, at checkout to save 10% on your next purchase. We know we'll be doing that as soon as possible. So before we jump into the episode, I have one thing I just want to bring up. So on Reddit, we normally post some of our episodes that we feel would fit on Reddit, and one of the ones that we posted was the Danny Castellero episode. Which what number episode was that, Johnny?
17.
Give me a hot second.
17.
3, 2, 16. Yeah. Oak Island was 17.
So it's episode 16. We're on episode 29.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. But so we posted basically a little bit of the case because we had some new information, and it's living on Reddit. It's been living on Reddit, and someone by the name of Winterberry created an account and posted 8 days ago on our Reddit thread that has been existing since episode 16, which was weeks ago, stating, "I believe my grandfather killed Castellero."
What?
Period. That's it.
This mic drop.
Yes.
That's fucking wild.
Created the account just to do that. They made the account. They made the account on September 29th, and then they posted it 8 days ago, which whatever that I'm not doing the math, but they did that. Yeah. I don't know.
Like
I messaged
nothing else. Did he say anything else?
Nothing. I messaged him. I commented. I did all that stuff. Didn't hear anything back. So I just want to put it out there and say, like, it's there. It happened. I don't know if it's someone that's just trolling, if it's someone that knows us, whatever it is. If you listen to the podcast, Winterberry, and you're listening, please email us at hybrothoughts@gmail.com. Reach out to us on Facebook. We want to talk to you. This is huge for us.
You know, but on that note, he could either A, be fibbing, or his granddad could be alive, and this could be incriminating.
Right. It's very specific. Like, it is very
we're trying
direct.
to solve a murder, though, guys. If somebody murdered somebody out there and it's somebody's grandfather, I don't give a shit. They need to go down.
You're gonna put a grandfather in prison? Are you serious?
What are you talking about?
Murdered
They put
a
grandfathers
man?
in prison all the time.
I know, but like, think about this. I know this is horrible, but that was like, what, 40, 50 years ago? And we're at a point now where I personally think, let's assume the guy's 80 years old or more. What's he gonna do? Like,
I don't know. All I'm saying.
Murder somebody else.
I don't think so.
All I'm saying.
He probably
is
murdered
that,
other people. He's a hitman.
Right. He might have a string of people that if he stopped, then it's all stopped.
Or what if the perfect hitman is really like just somebody who gets approached out of the blue and it's like, hey man, I know you're on hard times. Do this one time. You're gonna get a big payload. You don't ever have to do it again. You don't have to speak about it again. Make sure you don't tell your grandson. And boom. It's like somebody who's not connected. Yeah, that's the thing. Just don't tell your grandson.
But
also,
so weird,
how old would this dude have to be? It would have had to have been like an old man. Like, we're assuming, okay, the kid now let's say he's a teenager or she. Let's say that this person is a teenager at least. Let's say 15. So let's say 2003 they were born. How old would that person's dad be? Let's say 35.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, God, so how old would the dude have to be? I guess it could still be a grandfather. Yeah, that makes sense. It was in this. What year was this happened? The murder? I forget. 80s?
It was 80s.
If
it was
you
the
give
80s.
me a second, I can pull up my notes because I'm a freaking thesaurus.
I have it right here. Danny Castellero. It happened 1990s. 1991.
Man, so this guy would have been a father at the time, probably.
Yep.
Weird. So, with possibly a wife and a child, this guy's out there murdering folks, man, taking the ultimate risks. That's pretty ballsy and pretty shitty.
So it's wild. So it could be a ruse for fun. I mean, Reddit is a place where a lot of really good conversation happens, but it's also a place where some trolling and stuff happens, and that's completely plausible. But for someone to make an account and say this and then not get back to me, like they said it for a purpose, if they didn't want to say it.
Then why would he say it if he didn't have anything else to back it up? Because obviously he would spark.
Right. I'm just putting it out
That's
there.
classic troll to me. I don't know. That's well executed, really. Hold back. Put this one fucking phrase out there and then just hold back.
Right.
Just hold on to the rest. And now we're seeding. We're like, oh my God, what is it? What is it?
But us, a podcast that's still relatively new. It's not a big thing. Like, if that's the end goal, and the thing is, the post on Reddit isn't a massively trending post. It's not to stir anybody up, and no one has responded. It was just I'm going to drop this here and walk away. It's just interesting. It's interesting, and I just wanted to bring it up because if it's someone who listens, email us anonymously, whatever you want to do. I'm curious.
On that same note, we talked, I think, last week about a guy who gave us or maybe a woman who gave us a 1-star review, and after we released that episode, that 1-star went away.
It turned into a 5-star review.
I thought. Intimidation, guys. Intimidation.
You just scared the shit out of him, Tay.
Okay, come at me, bro. Come at me.
Well, today's a real special episode for me. I don't want to say any more because I want it to be a surprise. But it's going to be a
the whole
doozy.
episode. What do you mean?
Yeah, you're about to say
the whole
everything.
episode. You're going to be talking.
I know, but I don't. You'll know after this first paragraph. You'll know.
We'll do it.
So here we go. Let me just take a sip of water.
That was a gulp.
A gulp of water because I'm nervous. But
What? Why are you nervous?
Here we go.
Okay.
The concept of spiritualism has been molded and twisted into a thing straight out of a horror movie. It's a work of fiction to most involving otherworldly beings who walk the earth. But to others, it is simply a connection between a human being and their own religious beliefs. But what if I told you that the term spiritualism was so much more than some seemingly safe practice that people of faith experience each day? What if I told you that the concept of spiritualism is much more sinister than that? A lot of people don't know what the term spiritualism means. The idea has been lost over time as our society has grown darker and more rooted in fiction. For those with an open mind, spiritualism, the definition of it, is a system of beliefs or religious practices based on supposed communication with the spirits of the dead, especially through mediums.
Wait, so it's based off of dead people?
Yes, that's what the term spiritualism, the definition of spiritualism.
And spiritualism is encapsulating religion, essentially.
No.
Spirits.
People have made it. Yeah. People have made it into religion, but it is a system of belief or religious practices based on supposed communication with spirits of the dead.
Okay. Oh man!
100%.
So when people are like, I'm not religious, but I'm very spiritual. I'm very in touch with my spirituality.
You know what's funny?
They're basically saying, I see dead people.
Yeah, exactly.
Weirdos.
Tay, you just made that what's it called? Voice? You made that imitation, and I saw the person that you were imitating because I've heard that people say that. I'm just spiritual.
No fucking. All right, no shit. Dude's name Haley Joel Osment, right?
Yeah.
You guys have seen me 1,000 times. You know what I look like. Podcasters, there's live footage of it, so you can see what my face looks like and see if I look like this guy at all. I was in a bar one time, minding my own business, sipping a brew. I see these two hot ladies, like pretty hot ladies. I would like to talk to these girls. Sitting close to me, like a booth away from me. They're like staring at me, giggling. They got their phone out and they're giggling. I'm like, oh my God, it's my night, y'all. So I get up the courage and I kind of scoot over closer to them and we start talking. And they're like, oh my God, can we take a picture with you? It's like, absolutely. So I take a picture with them and they're like messing with their phones, and I'm talking to them for a couple minutes. These girls say that they didn't say I looked like the guy. They were convinced that I was Haley Joel Osment.
What?
Yeah, they were convinced that I was him. I look nothing like him.
It's because they haven't seen him in 25 years.
Drunk? Like, you look like Chris
What, do I look
Pontius
like an 8-year-old or something? It was very weird. So they like took photos and stuff and selfies and like posted it on maybe their Instagram. I don't know. I don't think I had Instagram at the time. But yeah, it was weird feeling because I thought it was going to be a great night and it turned into a really weird moment.
Such a strange actor to be like, look who we met.
Yeah.
So, spiritualism, a system of belief or a religious practice based on supposed communication with spirits of the dead. Now, I know a handful of you are quite surprised to hear this definition, but for those of you who aren't surprised, we need to talk. We have a mutual understanding about this term, about this concept. It means you've had an experience or know someone that has. It means your own reality has been questioned at some point in your life. How do I know? Because I've had one of those experiences. And today...
I don't believe you, Nick. I don't believe you.
Well, today, we will revisit those experiences together as I return to the small town of Cassadaga, Florida.
Fuck yeah! We're going back to that story?
Baby.
Yeah.
Well, for those of you listeners out there, on episode 3, Nick gave an awesome story. You can look back; it's our paranormal episode, and Nick gave a story exactly. And it was a very intense story, very good. I was into it. We just so happened to be in Orlando, the very place he's talking about, months and months later, and this guy didn't want to fucking go to where he said that thing happened.
You're about to find out why.
He didn't want to go. He's a little bitch.
What? What?
You little bitch.
So before I die, fuck you.
Dude, I'm just saying, if you know something happened, we gotta go back.
Hell no.
Got to go.
That's the point.
Hell no. Before I dive
We'll
into the
protect
heavy
you.
details, yeah, okay.
If anyone's getting possessed, it's my ass, dude.
Have you seen how
I'm
strong
so
we are?
susceptible.
I'll fight a ghost. I ain't afraid of no ghost.
So before I dive into the heavy details, it's important to provide the history of the town itself. Cassadaga
baby.
is a Seneca Indian word meaning water beneath the rocks. It's a small community located in Volusia County, Florida, just north of Deltona. On a map, it's just a road, but to the locals, it's a town. In 1875, Cassadaga began as a spiritualist camp when the Southern Cassadaga Spiritualist Camp Meeting Association was founded by George P. Colby from Pike, New York. Colby was a trance medium who traveled to different states giving readings and seances. He was very well known, and in his travels, he was referred to as the seer of spiritualism. Colby worked with several spirit guides who would give him knowledge. So that's where he got all of his knowledge from and his power. One of those spirit guides was an Indian named Seneca, who had manifested to Colby during a seance in Lake Mills, Iowa. According to Colby, Seneca told him to travel to Florida. It took 19 years, but a charter was finally granted to Colby to form the Southern Cassadaga Spiritualist Camp Meeting Association, which is a mouthful.
Yeah, it is.
Weird.
Another year later, in 1895, Colby signed a warrant deed. I fucked all these words up writing them. He signed a warrant deed to the association for 35 acres. Very, very similar to Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. Colby built it, and mediums and spiritualists flocked south to build the town to what it is today. Cassadaga, Florida, sitting on 57 acres currently. Yeah.
Wow.
His whole
Built
story.
by Miss Cleo herself.
It was literally built by the people. Colby's story is. There's a lot more to it, but there's a lot to this podcast today. There's a lot of history of him. He was baptized in an ice, a frozen lake, and then as soon as he was baptized, the ghost of his great grandfather told him he was a medium.
Why was he baptized?
It's crazy.
He was polar plunge baptized?
He was polar plunge
metal, though.
baptized.
But what's the... I don't.
Yeah, it's you guys can read his stories online. It's amazing. But the fact that mediums and spiritualists believed in him, forming this association in Florida in the late 1800s, early 1900s, that they built an entire spiritualist camp on 35 acres, now 57 acres.
Sounds like a bunch of hippies.
It's wild.
Camion. I wonder what he did to convince people that he's a medium.
Apparently, he was famous. He had traveled the world, and people knew him. I mean, they called his nickname was the seer of spiritualism.
When was this?
He was a
again?
god, basically.
When was this?
This was 1875.
If I may, I thought it was in the 1900s or anyways, 20th century. If I may, I would infer that people hundreds of years ago, basically 150 years ago, could have inferred that they were a medium just by asking a couple key questions and getting the answers that they were expecting out. Nick, do you have a mother, and is she close to your height, same eye color as you? And yes, is she? And they essentially become a spiritual god to everybody else because they asked the right questions. It's just manipulation through verbal communication, and therefore everyone thought that they were mediums, but they're not. I don't know. That's just me. So it was
a big deal. We talked about it in the Ouija episode.
Did we?
About the sisters.
Yeah.
Like this was a form of entertainment. This was basically magic. Like mediums were magicians, and this was like the shit that people went. They would pay top dollar to go see a medium, sit on a stage, have someone come up and tell them about their life that they've never met before.
It's fucking magic,
right?
It'd be cool even if you didn't think they were really a medium, and you're like, I just want to see this person, kind of flaunt their. It's kind of cool if they can, wordsmith their way into convincing people.
Right?
I don't know. It'd be kind of entertaining in itself.
It is. It was entertainment, and back in this time, it was a big deal. But the fact that people just followed him, flocked to this place, is wild, and built it up. I mean, this was built by the people, which is insane. Two of which I have the names here. E.W. Bond and Marion Skidmore, who E.W. Bond supplied materials to build many of the structures in the camp, and Skidmore was known as the mother of the camp, is what they called her.
The mother.
Which is nuts. So as of today, the camp features the Cassadaga Hotel, a central auditorium, the Colby Memorial Temple, a community library, the Caesar Foreman Healing Center, a camp bookstore, Colby's Healing Springs, which he claims healed him of tuberculosis, and a welcome center. On March 14th, 1991, the Southern Cassadaga Spiritualist Camp was declared a U.S. Historic District and is a federal tax-exempt church currently governed by a board of trustees.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is the
How
largest...
do we make a church?
Yeah, we built a spiritualist camp. It's the largest spiritualist community in the southern United States. When Colby died, the lake that fed Colby's Healing Springs dried up, leaving the locals with the claim that the lake dried when the energy of Colby was gone.
It makes sense. That makes total sense.
It makes sense to them because that's what they want to believe, but it could have been 1,000 things that just went off.
It's still very
It's a
coincidental.
coincidence. What was this stream that was being fed through his energy? Was it a river? What was it again?
It was just it was at Colby's Healing Springs. It was a spring, and they still it's there today. You can see it. There's a little bit of water,
Like a
but not
hot
ton.
spring or something?
Yeah, like a cold spring.
I feel like from
Florida spring.
From what I know, from Colorado sulfur springs, those things can dry up just as easy as the moon goes down.
It's Florida. Fuck, dude. Things dry up all the time in Florida.
Yeah.
Like a raisin.
I like that.
In true horror fashion, there's even a cemetery bordering Cassadaga and Lake Helen that features the famous Devil's Chair.
Oh, yeah.
What is that?
It's a graveside bench in the cemetery that local legend claims if you leave an unopened can of beer on the chair, it will be empty by morning.
I've heard of that.
Some people even say if you sit in the chair, the devil can be seen appearing right in front of you.
I would do that shit today, son.
I totally would too. You're saying that you're sitting in the chair and then he appears in front of you, standing, looking at you on the chair, or he's in the chair with you.
Like he's standing in front of you.
Be pissed because you're in his throne.
Yeah.
I thought that if the can was opened, it would be evaporated. But if it's closed, there's but if it's closed, there's zero way it could escape.
I don't know. People have, there's like videos and shit.
Devil can drink it without opening it? Why not?
It's pretty tight.
Slurp it through the chair. But
I
apparently,
would bring 2 beers.
I put one on each armrest.
Bring like a whole like a kegger.
I would
Let's
have
party.
one for myself and one for him in case he shows up. We could have a beer.
Drink beers with the devil.
We could cheers it.
That's the most metal shit I've ever heard.
Beers with the devil.
Running with the devil. Yeah.
So I did the research, and apparently a devil's chair is a common thing in the United States. There are multiple devil's chairs in the United States, so it's like a phenomena, essentially, that it's a wooden or a cement chair where you put a beer on and blah 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 blah.
And these are in cemeteries?
Yes.
That seems pretty sacrilege. I think. Well, not sacrilege. Like it'd be religious, but like, why would people put that there?
Woo! Let's party.
Like,
Yeah, it's a good, like, imagine if you're telling somebody this story, they're probably drunk to maybe believe it, right?
Right. What do you do with
so
beers
you
in a
guys are
cemetery?
drinking while this is happening. So you're like, oh, that bench is like 2 blocks away, man. Let's go do it.
I'm just saying, why would they make a chair made out of cement or
Well,
rebarb?
there's structures like that in cemeteries all over.
Just chairs?
There are chairs and there's shit
benches,
all
park
over.
bench. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was imagining
cemetery
a
is like a
throne.
park.
It's not a
I
throne.
imagined a throne as well. That would have been really cool.
It's
Okay.
throne-ish, but it's not a throne.
It's like a park
It's a
bench.
cement chair. Yeah.
Well, the throne from Game of Thrones
Yeah.
is throne-ish, but it's a throne.
Okay, it's a throne.
I'm thrown right now.
Shut up.
Oh my god!
So do I buy all that? Not so much. Could it be a fun local legend to draw tourists in to a very small Florida town? Absolutely. But couldn't that be the idea of Cassadaga? Is this just a tourist trap?
Yeah.
Could be.
Absolutely. Florida's very flat and long highways, man. They need roadside attractions.
Right, and it's sort of near, on the way to where was I?
Coral
gonna say
Castle?
It was Deltona.
Fallujah County.
Isn't it
You
Daytona?
said You said
Deltona.
Deltona.
It's Deltona.
But isn't Daytona in Volusia County as well?
Yeah, but Deltona's also there. It's
Oh,
Deltona.
there's two people.
Weird.
There's 2 what?
There's Deltona and
Daytona. Yeah.
Oh, is there Del Taco? Well, a lot of
Yes, there's
D's.
Del Taco in Florida.
I believe I've
Is there a
seen
Del
a Del
store?
Taco in Daytona. I don't know.
What about a
if I
Del
was
Taco in
Deltona.
Deltona?
I don't know if I've ever been in Deltona. Chances.
No one's
it's
been to
possible that I
Deltona.
have. Oh, what the hell
Wild, dude.
Deltona is? Cassadaga.
So it wasn't until I got
Cassadaga.
involved in the craziness of Cassadaga that I began to second guess my idea of the town itself. A town that I had never heard of up until I got my first job as a camera operator on a late night cable access ghost hunting show that I was hired on to investigate the Cassadaga Hotel.
Freaking tight.
So I'm mixing things up a little bit. Instead of us talking about, secondhand accounts of things, this episode is going to be focused on a firsthand account.
Are you retelling the story?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is my experience at the Cassadaga Hotel, because believe it or not, a lot of the information online is wrong, and I now know why.
What do you mean?
I'll get there.
Okay.
I was just 18-year-old. Yeah.
Yeah, you were.
Yep. I was just 18 at the time. And would take any job that came to me, especially something involving the paranormal and supernatural, because let's be honest, I like spooky shit. You guys know that.
Uh-huh.
A little history behind the hotel was given to me before we began our investigation. The current hotel that stands is not the original hotel. The first hotel was owned by Emma J. Huff. It burned to the ground Christmas night, 1926. It was then rebuilt by the camp itself and completed in 1928. And since then, it has been sold and bought multiple times, being passed from owner to owner. But on top of that, what?
These people must have made some incredible money as spiritual mediums.
That's what doesn't make sense to me. Is they rebuilt this entire hotel after 2 years after it burnt down.
That's crazy.
And it's the same hotel that's still standing there today.
Man,
And it's
must
in
have been a
great
hot
shape.
spot for business. I don't know. It's crazy.
Something had to have. It blows my mind. It truly blows my mind. On top of everything, it's said to be haunted by many quote unquote friendly ghosts.
Like Casper?
Yeah, like Casper. The most famous local legend tells the story of Arthur, who is the cheery ghost of Irish descent that was said to have resided in the hotel during his life. He's known to drag a chair to the end of the hall to look out the window to say hi to everybody. Hotel guests have even claimed to have caught him lingering around the halls and smelling his gin and cigars, which he was very fond of. This is where the documented history of the Cassadaga Hotel ends. The rest of history was given to me by a team of ghost hunters and live-in staff at the hotel. They spoke of 7 spirits: a lady with a large floppy hat that resided in the first floor bathroom, a woman in black who's said to be seen wandering the halls of the hotel, Arthur, the Irish ghost, 2 small children who play a game around the hotel with a small white ping pong ball, and an unknown spirit who tends to show aggression towards the staff on occasion. With all that information in mind, I was ready to hunt some ghosts because it was a good experience and would be a fun time to run around in the dark at night as a teenager.
So at this point, Nick, when you have taken this job, you know you're going to be operating camera at a ghost show and you're excited about it. Was there any part of you that was like, I'm about to see some ghosts? Or were you just like, this is a fucking TV show?
Dude, it was like I was ready to just wander around. Like it was like, okay, no one's going to be in the hotel. All the lights are going to be off. I'm going to get to wander around. This is
tight,
like spooky heaven for me. But no, I didn't think I'd see ghosts. I was
did you
joking
think,
the whole night.
I mean, I've always wondered how these ghost shows like operate. Like, it's pretty fun to watch every now and then, but like, you know, I don't know. I always imagine they just kind of manufacture these encounters, kind of like the Finding Bigfoot shows. You know, they're just like manufacturing enjoyment or whatever. So I don't know. I was kind of wondering what your mindset would be going in, thinking that, oh, they're going to be playing all these pranks on me. You know, they're going to be scooting chairs around on their own. I don't know. I'd be very skeptical.
Skeptical? Yeah. Synchronicity.
James, you both like me studying as the 2 to 3. So I used to watch a ton of ghost hunting shows, ghost adventures, taps, paranormal stuff, haunting, tons of stuff growing up. Like it was like the thing I'd watch whenever I was bored. And because I've had many experiences, but we won't get into it. And I always found a lot of relief in shows that weren't disproved, because there's so many like shows that like people would you know, their shirt would be tugged, and there was a whole YouTube video about how they did that manufacturedly or whatever.
It's all about disproving. That's what we do as a society.
Well, it ruins the show. And I'm sure if Nick went into this experience and they were like, hey, look, this is what's happening. This is fake. You can't tell anybody. This is the NDA we're signing in front of you. You have to sign it saying that we're going to fix some stuff. But they didn't do that.
No, I can tell you 100% there was at any point. Now a lot of them were like, we were goofing off for a while.
Okay.
When we got to the hotel.
Like for the show or just cuz?
Just because we were setting up, like we were hanging out, we were goofing around.
Oh, they weren't like setting up like fake booby traps or fake ghost.
No, you'd think like if I was someone there, they'd probably pull one over on me. But I'm the guy with the camera. They want if they were setting it up, they'd be like, okay, we want you to film this ghost hunter now because we're gonna do something.
Yeah,
they wouldn't just make me like, you know, just go
film,
in blind.
Yeah, just
that was so as a camera operator on those shows, is it like it's like reality style stuff? Like there's a group of people and your camera, you're following them and you just kind of like, oh, over here. Or were there like, you know, directed shots kind of thing?
No direction. I mean, this was like 2 a.m. cable access ghost hunter show.
Was it just you as a camera guy?
Do what?
How many camera guys were there?
3.
Oh, okay.
So it was like my job was to stay on the subject. So I was with 2 of the ghost hunters and I just stayed on the subject. That was the job I was given. Stay on them. And then when we were doing like some pre-shots, some intros, some discussion pieces, B-roll. I would just stay on the lead ghost hunter and that's it. Yeah, so we arrived at the hotel and were greeted by a small ping pong ball by the front door, which is apparently one of the ghost kids playing around.
Or a ploy that employees put there.
So I thought it was fitting, but a potentially clever touch to start off the night right, to get us in the correct mindset by the live-in staff. The live-in staff directed myself and my crew to room 22, which is apparently Arthur's room, the room that he died in, and the most haunted room in the hotel. So that's where we were staying. From there, we wandered the hotel, got acclimated with our surroundings, introduced ourselves to each other, and began setting up our equipment. Before we started, there was a lot of laughter as we ate Burger King. Yeah, I remember that. And it's little details. It's little details.
Okay.
Sponsored by
Please sponsor
McDonald's.
us. Yes, please.
Oh my god.
So we ate Burger King, prepped to film our first shot of the day around 4 p.m.
AM.
4 p.m.
I thought you said this was in the morning.
Well, we started at 4 p.m. to shoot opening before we did lights out.
Okay.
The opening shot of the show was shot in the seance room of the hotel, where guests of the hotel can take seance classes in order to practice their conjuring, for fun, because that's apparently what you go there to do.
Yeah, dude.
Weird.
Light as a feather, stiff as a board. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Are you levitating right now, Taylor?
Oh!
Oh, shit!
Leviosa! Something.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Wingardium Leviosa.
It was at the moment that I was standing in the seance room setting up for the first shot that I knew this was going to be a very long night. I was standing in the room holding the camera, and I felt someone blowing air gently on the back of my arm. At first, I thought it was the other camera operator, because when I looked at him, everything stopped. I thought he was just fucking with me.
Like, hey, I like your arm.
Yeah. He was a buddy of mine. Like, I knew him.
Oh, he thought I was fucking with you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought
Yeah.
because we drove together
Totally.
in the Cassadaga. We were laughing the whole car ride
Like
there.
picking at each other. Like, do you hear that? Do you hear that?
Yeah, we're like, guys, what are we doing? This is so dumb.
Yeah. Okay.
Who was that?
Ghost.
But it wasn't until I felt the lightly blown air move up my body from right above my ankle all the way to the top of my skull, and I nearly collapsed. My vision went from clear to blurred to black. The
Blacked
lead,
out.
I was still standing, but I blacked out.
Your eyes.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't see. The lead ghost hunter saw me go completely white, and he reacted quite aggressively, which was very alarming. I explained what I felt. He told me I'd be okay, and we moved forward. I had zero explanation what happened, but I knew whatever it was, it should be acknowledged, and we should just move the fuck on.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wait,
imagine
you did-
for someone to blow lightly upon your skin from your ankle all the way up to your head. That'd be a pretty crazy move.
It would be bold, and I would see it happen. And I looked around.
Yeah.
There were no air vents in the room. Like, this was a very distinct feeling, and my whole body got completely hot, and I could not see. It was completely black, and I felt like I was going to pass out. And the way he reacted, I was like, something's up. I must look a certain way. Something's up. But we moved on, and I didn't question it, because I'm like, fuck it.
So he got
No?
like real serious and stern. Was like, tell me exactly what happened.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
gotta
and
make you
this-
feel like some shit.
Oh, I felt like garbage because he
I'm
was
gonna die.
he was flubbing to every single take. It was like, hey, I'm so-and-so. Welcome to the Cassadaga Hotel. And he kept fucking it up and was like laughing. And literally the moment that it happened, he went from like
Funny.
fucking around to like exactly what we said, Taylor. He's like, tell me what just happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you can see, there's and that
I
was
didn't
it.
touch the ghost. The ghost touched me.
That's wild, dude.
Yeah, and this
It
was
is
4
wild.
p. This was like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the evening. We didn't even
That's
start yet.
like afternoon to me. It's not
All right,
even-
afternoon. It was
That's
the
still that's
afternoon,
weird to
Johnny.
me. I feel like from my experience from ghost shows, shit doesn't happen in any of the intros. Like I've never seen a show where when they're introducing the location and saying it's gonna go from dawn to dusk, dusk till dawn, do they say anything happens? Usually just like weird, crappy CGI effects and ghost spirits that they add in digitally afterwards.
It was
Yeah,
a groundbreaking
exactly.
show. Groundbreaking, obviously. Getting ghosts before night falls, dude.
That
And,
doesn't fucking
you know,
happen.
Well, who? So where in the rule book though does it say anything
There's no-
about ghosts
no,
having to
there's
exist
not.
at night?
No.
You know.
There's not rule books, but the concept comes down to a lot of things, right? So the majority of apparitions that are seen are easier to see at nighttime than daytime because what you see in a lot of instances,
light reflections and all
exactly.
that
Yeah,
shit.
And then you have heat signatures that you can see through apparitions with EVF meters and heat cameras, and that's much harder to see in the daytime. So a lot of the experiences that are documented are at nighttime. So it's weird that this ghost show would have documented something in the daytime, or that something would happen because that just doesn't happen.
right.
Does that make sense?
I see what you're saying, but yeah, I get that.
Like,
Yeah, I
even
get
like
it.
every horror movie, like when's the last time you saw a
Yeah,
horror movie?
so-
It's like, all right, it's daytime. Watch out for the ghost. Like fucking daytime is the safe time.
There it is. It's walking. That's daytime. It's not going to hurt me.
Well, I mean, when you're a kid, you have to start trick or treating at like 5 o'clock. It's daytime. You know, it's still
That's
scary.
because
Right.
people go to bed early. They're old.
Yeah.
That's true. He's got a point.
All right, move on.
So before dead time or lights out,
Dead time.
the lights went out in the entire hotel. I was called out to the hallway by one of the mediums. So this was the lights were on, cameras weren't rolling, all that stuff. So I didn't have a camera at the time, as all the batteries were on the charger to get a nice little bit of juice before we went into dead time. Everyone was just having some downtime. What? They called it dead time. Is that what they call
it? Dead time? Like, that's like, okay, game on, it's nighttime, it's 3 minutes till midnight. Shit gets real.
Exactly. And they even, like, there's a subtitle on the bottom of the screen. It's like, 11 p.m., dead time.
That's the shit that I don't like, because it's like it's not like
you got to give it a name.
You flip a switch and then all of a sudden the ghosts come out of the fucking walls, ceilings, and ground. Like it just like
haunted mansion style. Yeah,
that doesn't happen. But anyways,
So I didn't have a camera on me at the time. Everyone was just hanging around, waiting to hunt ghosts until 7 a.m. because that's what was going to be a full investigation that would start at 11 p.m. and go all the way to 7 a.m. The medium was sitting in the hallway. She signaled over to me to sit on the floor next to her, which is a long, narrow wooden hallway. And she looked at me and she asked me, "Do you want to see something cool?" I laughed a little bit and said, "Abso-fucking-lutely," because I like cool stuff also.
I love cool shit.
She was silent for a brief moment when she proceeded to tell me that the ghost children were right in front of us, which was very reassuring to me because I was like, I don't like that. And that they wanted to play. They were curious and they wanted to play.
Okay.
And that by playing with them, it was creating an instant connection with them to assure that we have a good night of activity. She removed the small white ping pong ball from her pocket, which she collected when we walked in, positioned it on the ground, and pushed it down the hallway, letting it roll freely. It just kept rolling and rolling and rolling. And
there's no mass to
chuckling.
A ping pong ball.
Huh?
There's like no mass to a ping pong ball. How far is this fucking ball rolling?
I mean, it like was rolling down the hallway. I mean, it was a firm roll. She gave it a firm roll. Okay. It was firm. And it was just kind of going. Bless you.
Thank you.
So I was kind of laughing, and I was like, nothing's going to happen. This is ridiculous. And granted, this sounds like a 5-minute thing, but this was a matter of seconds where the ball was rolling, and I knew that this was just some sort of dumb joke. Until the ball stopped completely, frozen in its tracks, as though something grabbed it and held onto it in the middle of the hallway.
What?
There's a low point.
What?
Or there's a low point.
This is a magnetic ball. There's magnets in this ball, and there's a magnet in the floor, and it's a sunken floor as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Great. So the ball then, busted it. So after the ball was frozen, it rolled back to us.
Oh shit!
Shut up.
As if we rolled it.
As if you had a magnet and you were pulling it back towards you.
This back and forth continued for quite some time, but the ping pong ball kept getting closer to us each time.
Like when you rolled it away, it stopped.
It was stopping closer to us till it was about maybe a foot in front of us.
I don't know. I like that or not. That's fucking
that's weird. Did you inspect this ping pong ball at all?
Yeah, you're like, this is just heavy. Is this like loaded die from Las Vegas?
No, it was a straight up, just classic ping pong ball. There's nothing rigged
if any of us plays ping pong here, it's me. I can tell a classic ping pong ball.
Yeah, I weighted it,
Okay.
you know.
Okay, it was a classic, all right.
So we rolled the ball one final time, and it just kept rolling as someone came walking down the hallway. So it was done. We were done playing. This blew my fucking mind, because
of course it did.
I'm a believer in science and figured that maybe this was some sort of clever polarity trick. I still wasn't convinced, but this was experience number 2, and the night hadn't even started yet.
What time is it right now?
This was like 9 p.m.
Not officially dead time.
Not officially dead time. The
My mind
cameras
would
were
have been
rolling. Nothing.
But to me, it's like, all right, you're coaxing your cameraman into really believing in this shit before he starts. That way, there's no disbelief. Like you were fully immersed, and you're like, this is definitely
But
real.
why? They didn't know me. Why?
Well,
What's their purpose?
Okay,
Well,
so in a reality TV show, what is more real than the reaction of the camera guy? You know? Try and get a reaction out of the camera guy, and it looks so much more real.
Totally.
You know, get that whip around where one camera guy's filming all the other camera guys.
Yeah.
Boom.
Well, there's every show I've seen. I can name out one specifically, but I don't want to dog on it. But one of the main hosts is a scaredy cat, And every time he holds the camera, you can tell he believes in it because he literally is like, "Oh, I'm gonna follow shit," and he like turns the camera or like breaks shit because he's literally scared because he believes in it. Versus like if Nick was in there, or I was in there, or someone was in there, and they're like, "I don't fucking believe in this. You look dumb." No one who's watching that at home is gonna like it. They're gonna be like, "Well, if he's not into it, I'm not into it."
But no one was prepped. Like that's the thing. And like, what benefit does it have to them to scare the shit out of me, an 18-year-old kid, to the point where I'm like, yeah, this is some demon shit. I'm leaving.
Well,
and they're down a camera guy.
That's
means
different.
to sell the whole
think
vibe. You know?
Yeah, I think it's different if they were like, all right,
Right.
you're about to get scratched or possessed, and then you film it, versus like, let's just show you a cool trick with light or gravity and then show them. Because like, once you're immersed, the audience is going to be immersed, and that's so much more important for the visual than like, I don't know. That's just my thought.
Right. And now I was a skeptic. Even though these two experiences happened to me, I was still skeptical. I literally, because I'm like, I do believe in science.
Experiences?
Two. It was the blowing up my arm and the blacking out, and then this ping pong ball shit. And I was like, sure, okay. I still wasn't buying it. Like I was like, this is fun. Like this is fun to me.
Yeah, like I'd be really excited that man, these guys are pulling off some really fun, cool shit. I'm into this, you know.
This
and I want to eventually, hopefully, learn how they do this. Hopefully, at the end of the night, they'll tell me how they're doing this. You know.
Right. Yeah. Tell me the trick. Tell me what's up. This is going to be fun. What else will I be doing on this Friday night?
A medium never reveals her secrets.
A magician never.
Or a medium.
Secret. A medium. So the night began without much activity at all. The crew split up. One crew went upstairs, another stayed downstairs. I was with the downstairs crew, who had a master key to every single room on the first floor. We all communicated via walkie-talkies, which heightened everyone's stress level because whenever someone spoke on the walkie-talkie, it scared the shit out of all of us. After about an hour of investigation, the crew upstairs radioed down to us saying that a chair was thrown at them by an entity. I almost laughed out loud because, come on, you wait until cameras aren't with you to say something as crazy as that happened? Who knows? But now the crew I was with wanted something wild like that to happen to them. They were jonesing for an experience. So we instantly began visiting each room one by one downstairs. One of the ghost hunters stuck the key into the doorknob, turned, and it felt as though the door was jammed or blocked by something. Each of us gave it a try, treating it like it was like the sword in the stone or some shit, and it wouldn't budge. The door wouldn't open. We moved on to the next door. Same thing. Moved on to the next door. Same thing. But before we all walked away from the third door we had checked, we heard the old bed behind the door squeaking as if someone was jumping up and down on it. This continued for about 5
Jumping
minutes.
up and down, were they?
Yeah, I was like, it could be something. It could be a lot of things that make beds squeak.
It's the doll brothel, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
This jumping up and down sound on the bed continued for about 5 minutes, and it was followed by a loud thud on the other side of the door.
Wait. For 5 minutes, this bed is squeaking, and you're not going and looking what's happening?
Yeah. The hotel was empty, by the way. Completely
But you're
empty.
not like, oh, I hear a squeaking. Let me go check it.
Well, we couldn't get in the room.
Yeah.
The door was completely jammed. We could not get in the room.
There's no lights?
No lights, nothing.
Wait,
the
but
lights
you
were
said
all
you
off.
had a skeleton key.
To all the rooms, yes. We could not get in.
And none of them worked.
The locks were turning.
That sounds like it was forged. Hey, guys, we have a skeleton key, gets to all the rooms.
Yep.
No, it fucking doesn't.
Exactly.
So the key... okay. So maybe I didn't explain it as detailed as it should be.
Okay.
We put the key in the doorknob, turned it, and it worked. The doorknob turned. You could feel the doorknob giving.
There's something blocking it behind it?
Yeah.
Yes. For 3 doors.
But
doors.
Still, it could have been staged, and then they could have put a fucking sound effect on the bed.
The second room we were in earlier that night.
Yeah, but were you with everybody at all times?
Yes.
No, you with that fucking chick with the ping pong ball.
Yeah, but we were by room 22, and unless they went...
Could there have been a curator that came by? I'm just saying,
hopefully another
the
listener
skeleton key's
got
not
that.
convincing me.
What?
Hopefully, a listener out there got that. Never mind. Continue.
Okay.
There are ways around this skeleton key thing. So you're going...
Sure.
Okay, 5 minutes later.
So the jumping on the bed, which is what it sounded like, ended after 5 minutes, being followed by a loud thud on the other side of the door. The medium tried to open the door again, and it opened without a problem.
That's weird.
The door was open wide, and we shined our headlamps inside the room as the cameras rolled. We were huddled in the narrow hallways, treading lightly because we were all a little spooked at this point. Sweat was pouring on my face. when I heard childlike laughter in the lobby of the hotel, which was about 100 or so feet away. I ignored it, thinking it might be one of the other crew guys with their walkie-talkie. I'm getting like chills in my left ears ringing
Nick's
right
like
now.
sweating so much, he's like slipping around like the whole house. It's like Nick. There was a specific experience where us three were filming a project, and Nick was wearing a Bigfoot outfit, and there was sweat pooling in his gloves. I can only imagine Nick's like whole shirt is drenched, and he's like he can't like breathe. He's like filming the show, and the camera's slipping around. I'm just like envisioning you drenched in sweat, freaking out.
I was sweating. So we heard the childlike laughter in the lobby hotel, which is about 100 or so feet away. I ignored it. And then it got closer, along with small footsteps running along the wooden floor. I turned to look at one of the other camera guys, and he was staring at me with bug eyes as though he actually heard the same thing. The small footsteps sounded like they were running towards us down the hallway in the dark until they completely stopped. All of us were. I was. At that point, I'm like, all right, I'm done.
I don't like that.
That is pretty
I don't
creepy.
like that.
I'm out. It was very. I literally I'm full on chill bumps at this point.
There's just like little like
yes,
running right towards you.
Yes, like children's feet.
Pitter-patter.
It was.
Yeah, I'd feel like I'm about
unsettling.
to die.
Oh, I thought I was like, this is it. Like we're all gonna die. And the look on my friend's face, who was the other camera operator, he looked like he was.
Nick, there are kids on you right now.
Do not turn around. But like, obviously, little kids can kill people. But I don't know. I'd be very afraid if I really thought I was seeing a ghost, and that would really creep me out. But I don't know if I'd jump straight to death. Like, oh, this little child ghost is gonna kill me. Why? How?
Yeah.
You know?
I didn't think I was going to die because, like, the story they told us is that the kids were friendly. Like, it was a friendly ghost. They were just harmless kids, and they played their little game with their ping pong ball. But where my mind went, because this is how I think, I was like, holy fuck.
Well,
we took the ping pong ball. These kids want it back. We're now basically, like, trying to capture shit on camera. They're pissed.
I can give you tons of ping pong balls. I can give you tons of them. Just let me go to the store. Come on.
Just let me leave.
I can buy a whole pack.
Okay.
Hey, hi, bros. Time to take a break to caffeinate. While you're listening to a podcast as unpredictable as ours, you need a coffee that's going to keep you on your toes. That's why I reach for the strongest coffee on the planet. Death Wish Coffee. Available ground or whole bean. Hell, you can even get them in K-Cups. Available at deathwishcoffee.com. That's deathwishcoffee.com.
So after this happened, we were all then broken apart and called into the seance room shortly after that experience to be told that half of the crew could take a break due to not being able to capture much activity at all. I asked the lead ghost hunter if me and the other camera guys could go on our own mini investigation, to which he was totally fine with. So we dropped our gear in room 22 and continued around the super creepy hotel. We wanted some action.
Gay.
So we wandered upstairs to find the room with the flying chair in hopes that it would be tossed at us so we could have a story to tell. We wandered through the halls that were quite empty except for a few portraits. We were finally in the flying chair room and decided to ask questions out loud to the ghosts in hopes to get it to move something. Nothing happened, but there was definitely an energy in that room that had us on edge. As we were getting deeper into our investigation, our walkie-talkie went off, scaring the absolute shit out of us.
Of course.
Telling us to get downstairs as soon as possible with our cameras. We bolted out of the room and jogged down the hallway, but before we did, I invited whatever spirits were in the room to come downstairs for us to help them, which was super dumb.
You said that?
I said I basically said, I don't remember because it was so long ago,
God.
but the gist of what I said was, if there are any spirits in here, if you need help, follow us downstairs and we have people who can help you.
And they're like, one-way ticket to heaven. Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
But then they're going to be pissed at you because you lied to them.
Yeah, they're going to kill you.
Yeah. So as I'm jogging down the hall, my left shoulder slammed into something sharp and solid that caused a heavy pain, but not enough to stop. I ignored it completely. I'll touch on this later. This is an important detail to remember.
Okay.
Johnny will touch on it later, probably.
We had the cameras. and met the ghost hunters in the seance room where they were sitting around a large table with an EMF meter in the center that was going absolutely nuts.
EMF meter,
What's
electromagnetic. Oh, electromagnetic frequency.
I think is what it is. EMF meter. It is.
Basically, it just can like measure because apparently the prescribed belief is that spirits and apparitions can give off different magnetic frequencies.
Yes.
And disturb your own magnetic frequencies, like things that are like electronics.
Magnetic fields measurement. So it's basically measuring the electromagnetic fields, which is a device used by ghost hunters to see if the ghosts are communicating back to them.
So, because like you can disturb different fields of electromagnetic. Oh, fuck. Anyways, like take like batteries out of like power out of a camera or your own energy out of your system.
Right. And so the way the meter worked is that there's a bar that went from red to green. The closer it was to green, the stronger the presence of the ghost was.
The more the more fields were
the more
moving.
energy is there.
Sure.
And the more energy, the stronger the communication with the spirit.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the science behind it. So the EMF meter was in the center of the table and it was going nuts. Apparently, though, the seance room was a hot spot all of a sudden and just became so while we were upstairs, which is weird.
And you just invited the people downstairs?
Which is why they had us get the camera because this EMF meter just randomly, when they called us on the walkie-talkie, it spiked, which is odd. And at this point, I'm connecting the dots to everything because I'm freaked out that I'm in this hotel. I set up the camera as I was operating on a tripod to document the spirit questioning and sat back observing this insanely haunting experience that felt right out of a horror movie.
I'm not trying to critique you, Nick, but you should be on a monopod the whole time. I feel like tripods are like, if you're going to miss some shit, dude.
Well, it was up. Like, they were all sitting down around this table. So I stayed on a 2-shot. The other camera guy stayed on a 2-shot. And the other camera guy was on the lead ghost hunter.
Visualize it. I just feel like you're like wasting time with a tripod. No, I'm just critiquing it.
I'd be ready. Man, fuck you.
I'm sorry. I do it by my monopod.
Settle down,
I bet your
Kubrick.
shots were extremely stable.
They were very stable.
I'm sure they were, but that took a long time to do. And like that's like instant. You can't like fucking document it and be all blurry. You can't. I don't know.
They were stable as hell.
Okay.
They were damn stable. It was so stable it could hold horses.
Oh, that's nice.
After
Stables don't hold horses, by the way. They just house them.
Whatever. After a short period of time, the lead ghost hunter began taunting the spirit aggressively in hopes that it would lift the table or another chair just so we could capture it on camera. Nothing happened.
Yeah, it's a lot of energy.
The EMF meter went completely silent. Before I knew it, since I apparently had the most quote-unquote spirit interactions that night, I was asked to join the ghost hunting team at the table. It was all a blur. The next thing I knew, I was sitting at this table.
You like some bait? Let's have you in
I
here.
was bait. I was literally brought there because I was bait. They felt my energy. From there,
BD.
Things went... Yeah. From there, things went nuts. There was some incoherent questioning, but the EMF meter was going absolutely crazy, flashing wildly after every word until one of the ghost hunters in front of me started convulsing.
What?
In between...
Can you describe convulsing?
I can't other than the word convulsing.
Well, how were they convulsing?
He was violently
seizuring?
shaking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
eyes rolling back his head, like spitting, like drooling and stuff. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, weird. Was he saying anything? Like, holy shit, something's
so
happening to me?
In between his convulsions were like these deep growling sounds mixed with what sounded like laughter, kind of. I couldn't tell if it was like crying or laughter.
Sounds like a friendly ghost my ass.
Yeah.
Like
ew, stop.
Yes. Very similar, but it also sounded like he was trying to get other words out but couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
This went on for what felt like 15 minutes. It felt like a long-ass time. Until he stopped and began calling out the lead ghost hunter's name, like begging.
What was her name? His name?
His name. I don't remember his name.
Okay.
He was sobbing and
Emilio!
begging for...
Emilio!
Adrian! He was sobbing and begging for whatever was happening to him to end.
He was him. He wasn't...
He was him. He was like
Okay.
back to normal. This was a grown man who, sure, could have been an actor, but he was putting on the most realistic, like, acting thing
For 15
ever.
minutes, yeah.
Like, Oscar worthy. Like, this would have been, if this dude was acting, it's like, why are you on this late night cable access show?
Yeah.
After things calmed a bit, he looked at me in the darkness. My eyes had adjusted to the dark hours ago, so I could see his eyes quite clearly. And I could make out like his face, too. I could see his face.
Okay.
And he stared at me silently for a little while, and then he asked me, Nick, when you were growing up, you lived east on a hill. You wore overalls riding a red, blue, and yellow tricycle up and down that hill. I grew up in West Virginia and exclusively wore Oshkosh Bagosh overalls, and my favorite tricycle was indeed
what?
red, blue, and yellow.
I thought you grew up in Florida.
I grew up in West. I bounced around when I was a little kid, and I spent part of my life in West Virginia.
Holy
It wasn't
shit.
East Virginia, as the ghost would have implied.
True. You're
So-
right.
So this guy who doesn't know you
Never met him before in my life.
probably didn't do a background check on you to find out what fucking
There's
spike you
no
had.
people I like are that I'm close to don't even know that I lived in West
But-
Virginia for a while.
That's weird as shit. I didn't know.
But I don't know. You're either from, I guess you could be from the Midwest or something. But yeah, you could either an East Coast guy or a West Coast guy. Maybe you guys have been talking.
Right.
Maybe you found out you were from Florida. And like Johnny was saying, he used the Jedi mind tricks on you. Everybody had that fucking tricycle. You know, the red, blue. Are you talking about like the big wheel that's plastic and shit?
Yeah, the
That's
Fisher
like
Price.
3 or 4
yeah.
different colors. Yeah, everyone had that.
Right.
I didn't
You had
actually have
jeans
one.
as a kid?
I didn't have one. But
You wore overalls?
exactly. I don't know.
It
Could
was
be
still-
very clever.
It was very specific. But after he said that, it was almost like immediate that the face on his look started to change, or the look on his face started to change. His straight face turned into this like weird crooked smile, and his eyes started rolling again in the back of his head. As this was happening, the lead ghost hunter asked me very calmly to get up from the room, leave the room, and go back to the room where all the gear was, which was room 22, the most haunted room in the hotel,
You're about to be sacrificed.
to wait things out. I didn't question him. I got up. I left the room. And as I did and started walking out of this fucking room, so the seance room, it's there. The table is sort of in like the middle of the room. You go kind of towards the end of the room. It's a pretty small room, maybe like 30 by 30. And you go out through the door, and then you take a left, and then you take another left, but you can still, the walls are so thin that you can hear anything going in that room. And so I left the room, took a left out of the room. Before I took my second left to finish going down the hallway, I began hearing this like inward screaming noise coming from that room. Yeah, like
Weird.
it was very bizarre. And then like a lot of rustling in a chair, like a chair scraping the ground.
Weird.
I just kept looking forward and walked a bit faster, and I was almost crying at this point because I'm like, this is some horror movie shit. I'm going to get in this room and sit down. All the lights are out still, even in the room, completely dark.
Oh, man.
I'm sitting on the bed in this haunted room, and I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah, I'm going to die.
I need to get out of here. So
Dude,
after
like,
a few minutes,
Never mind.
what?
I was just gonna say, I was just thinking, it's so interesting how different you feel as far as like being afraid. It's so crazy how different you feel when you're alone versus with anyone else.
Totally. I
You
would
know,
have
like
wanted
if
to
you were
stay.
in that same situation with anyone else, it'd be way different. Like you might even feel brave, like the opposite.
right.
You know.
I mean, if you guys were
Really
there,
weird.
sure.
Yeah. If we were, so if we were, that's my concept, is that I feel like I wouldn't have wanted to leave, because the second I leave that room, that spirit that possessed, hypothetically, the host could have just left that host and used you as a host.
Made it into me, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I wouldn't want to stay there where there's other humans that could help me.
Right.
So go to fucking Arthur.
I mean, if this lead fucking ghost hunter's like, dude, you need to go. Calmly, compared to when he aggressively asked me at the beginning of the night, like, what happened?
Yeah.
Like, he very calmly, during the craziest shit of my life, was like,
weird.
All right, Nick, I think it's time. You need to get up. And this is a guy who was yelling at these spirits in the seance room to lift a table, swearing at them.
It's like, Nick, this is over my head. I need you to leave.
It was so calm. Like, it was so calm.
Plug your butt and leave.
So I left. And a few minutes later, the lead ghost hunter came in the room and asked if I was okay. He asked if I was feeling strange in any way, and he gave me a few herbs. I don't remember what they were, but he told me to put them in my pocket and keep them in my pocket until the next day.
Do not smoke these until tomorrow.
Do not smoke these ones. I will give you others that you can smoke.
That's so funny.
He told me if I felt anything the next day that was strange to give him a call, and he was going to come over and perform an exorcism.
I would have called him anyways to be like, shit's weird right now. I'm going to be honest. Let's see what this exorcism's all about.
So it was after all of that the rest of the camera guys came in. The other two were friends of mine, and he said, I want to talk to you guys for a second. I want to let you know that the seventh spirit that was an unknown entity that has been violent towards some of the staff is actually a demonic spirit. And
thanks for telling me that now.
It has been causing issues to the 6 other spirits, and that's why they were brought to this hotel, basically, to investigate what had happened. And what happened was...
So these other 6 ghosts were like, yeah, we need help. This other ghost is bullying us?
Basically.
For backup?
Yeah,
they called the Ghostbusters in.
There was a concept that was like, for one demonic spirit, like 7 or 10, like normal spirits, whatever. It was a weird, like, it sounds super crazy. But I heard this statistic when I was a kid that was like, to even out the feng shui of a paranormal area, you can only have so many, right? Or it just becomes like super unsafe. I don't know.
I'm sure. I mean, I don't know the
one
stats,
evil
ghost
is
stats.
worth like 7 non-evils, is what you're saying?
One put down is worth 7 put-ups. Like when you call somebody stupid, you have to call them like pretty like 10 times, or else it's like. Anyways,
so it means nothing 10 times.
The whole gist of the situation about this demonic spirit that was here that the lead ghost hunter had no idea was here, which this is where it became real to me. Johnny, what are you looking at?
I swear to God, I see headlights in. What the fuck? I swear to God.
Don't you do this to me, Johnny.
I'm not fucking pulling this on you. I saw headlights in that movie poster, but there's no headlights in that parking lot.
Oh, there's a cop car.
In that, in a
there's
parking
a cop
lot?
behind us in the parking lot.
Is there?
It's a fucking.
Yeah, he's parked in our parking lot with his lights on.
What the fuck?
Wondering what you guys are doing.
Dude, I'm not even joking. This is the third cop
like this.
I've seen tonight. Like there was one cop. So Spring Hill is a safe place.
I need a weapon.
There was
it's one of the safest
cop,
places in America, folks.
It's very safe. There was one cop that was by one stoplight, and then another cop further down by the stoplight, like creating a checkpoint. And now we just had another cop pull into our office complex, our studio complex, and now he's just sitting chilling.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to scare you, Nick. I literally was. Like that freaked me out.
He's facing the road, but he's down by he's by our office and he's facing out towards the road. Anyway, I'm freaking the fuck out.
I don't like that. I'm
gonna get through this. I'm almost done. Let me just get through this.
Something's going on in Pleasant Hill.
I got your back, Nick. I'll look that way.
All right, you watch my back.
I'm like sweating a little bit.
So apparently this is where everything started. Fuck me. This is where everything started making sense, and this is where it clicked with me. So he explained that the reason why the demonic spirit is there is that in the seance room, a portal was conjured up due to all the folks incorrectly practicing seances, and that demons had been welcomed into the hotel.
So you guys triggered them by being...
No, they were there anyway.
Oh.
That basically, like, they have a seance class and a seance room in the hotel that guests can take part of as an activity.
But they're doing it wrong.
They're doing it incorrectly. It's a class.
Therefore...
They've opened this spiritual hole, essentially.
A portal to the underworld.
Yeah.
Yes. Which,
it
sounds insane, but it makes sense.
Like in Harry Potter when he says, I want to go to Diagon Alley, and he goes say diagonally, and he goes to Nocturne Alley instead because he fucking says it wrong.
Yeah, it's just like Harry Potter, Johnny.
It always is. So you're saying that because these people were like not doing it right, they're welcoming in ghosts. That's like 0 to 100 really quick because you got one word wrong, everyone's going to die.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it is insane, but like if you do believe in spiritualism and things like that, it from a supernatural, logical standpoint, this makes sense. Like, this is something that makes sense.
Sure.
He then said if he knew this before we filmed this episode, he would not have brought us in this hotel.
Why didn't he know it then?
He didn't. They didn't tell him.
Wouldn't that be the exact kind of environment that you'd want to be in to see ghosts?
Yeah.
Right, but like bringing 3
noobs,
teens that he basically hired off a film school campus.
That's endangering your lives.
He wouldn't have brought us there if he was endangering these teenagers.
Is there? I'm not saying that ghosts aren't real, but is there any record? Who gets killed by a damn ghost? Who do you know that's been killed by a ghost?
No.
Who do you know that's been hurt by a ghost?
So I know somebody who's been physically scratched.
Yeah, I mean, people have been harmed and stuff. Like, if you're a medium or a ghost hunter or whatever, like, A, people can be physically assaulted by a ghost, and B, there are stories of people being killed. Like, the Warrens have books about people who have died from
you're possessed,
ghosts.
and then weeks later you die of an anomaly. Like fucking. No, I got you, Nick. Don't you turn around? I'm watching.
All right, I'm just looking.
You're good. Who said that Nick could have been possessed with those herbs and spices in his pocket, and then weeks later randomly gets hit by a car, just like so happens. And that demon was using your body as a
host
to go to the
someone else. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's all crazy.
He needed to die again in order to move on.
But
that's crazy.
Why would it? I don't know. Even so, if it had to attach onto someone to move on or whatever, what does that even mean? Like it needs your body, like because it had a body at one point. Yeah, it had a body, and when it died, it got stuck for whatever reason. What it doesn't have enough soul, so it has to like latch onto someone else's soul.
So
they got enough soul,
I can answer.
Well, it's apparently like
throwing it out to the ether.
It's a demon thing. Like apparently it's a demonic thing, and the way he explained it to me is he said that when I was asked, like probed about my childhood, that was the demon speaking through this guy, trying to connect to me on a level that weakened me, so it could pass from one host to the next, and I was going to be the next host. That's what I was told.
You will see him in his truest of forms.
He will be there. But
it's creepy.
Yeah. So anyway, the ghost hunter said, "You got leave. You're done. You've wrapped up." It was like 4 a.m. at this point. We were supposed to stay till 7, and he sent all of us home. All the camera guys.
AM?
Yeah, 4 a.m. All the camera guys home. The crew was gone. So I packed my shit up, and as I began walking down the long hallway towards the exit of the hotel where my car was in the parking lot, I heard from the other room the words, "Here he comes." It was the guy who was possessed earlier, who apparently could feel my presence coming down the hall, and he was getting anxious. He sounded scared that basically what happened to the seance room was going to happen again because I was coming near him.
So you were late and shit up because you were there. You were disturbing and getting all these spirits able to fuck shit up.
Apparently.
You were like the weapon to start the war.
I was the weakest link, apparently.
He's like, "Damn it, Nick, serve me."
So yeah, so I heard that, and I just kept walking, and I felt bad I didn't say bye because I try to be a nice guy and like say like, "Hey, thanks," but like, how do you walk up a dude you just potentially saw getting possessed and go, "Hey, it was so nice meeting you. Thanks. Maybe we can do the same time next week."
Yeah,
I would have stared deep into his eyes, and I would have tried to figure it out. I would have shaken his hand.
Older. If I were older and wasn't 18 and scared shitless at this point, I would have done the same thing. But I kept walking because he sounded scared, and I didn't want the same shit to happen. And as I was walking away, I was almost out the door, and I heard him laughing, like maniacally laughing, and he was still laughing when the door closed. And I got in my fucking car. I did not look back. I drove. I was silent the whole entire time.
Sounds like that was a prank, bro. Like he was
like,
I fucking
all the
got
pieces
this
of the puzzle are pointing to that. Yeah.
Maybe,
I mean, you overheard him saying, "Here he comes," so it's like, okay, they're getting ready to do something, and then as you're leaving, he's like,
"Surprise!
This guy,
happy birthday!"
But like the way he said it, he sounded like scared, like he was on the verge of tears.
Man,
I don't know. Maybe it's that Academy Award-winning actor that you talk about. Maybe he's got skills that we need to think about getting him on screen.
I'm going to tell you, there's no way this dude was an Academy Award-winning actor. This guy, this is one of the most awkward humans I've met. And
has Nicolas Cage won an Academy Award?
No.
Odd. One of the greatest actors of our time.
True. You're right.
That's an opinion.
Yes, it is.
So I quit the show. I did not come back after this episode, and to this day, I refuse to step back into Cassadaga. I won't go because the hotel, there's some demonic shit there. But the story didn't end there. When I returned home that night, I walked around the front of my car. I felt like something was there. In the grill of my car, there is a fucking dead bat.
That's pretty weird. Did you?
That's real
Did you
tight.
see? Did you see it when you got in it to leave from Cassadaga?
No.
Did you hit something on the way?
Yeah, apparently I hit this bat in Central Florida on the way home, and I was so freaked out about it.
You didn't even.
I was like, this. I'm cursed. Like, this is the sign.
Start of it, yeah.
This is it. I buried the bat in my front yard, made a little cross out of twigs, and put a cross there, and like said a prayer because I was so scared. And I had my mom send me a picture.
You have a picture of it?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Can I see
listen.
it?
Tight, dude.
I'm all about justification.
You have a picture
This
of
is
it?
exactly
Pop
where I
that
didn't
on
move
the
it.
Instagram, dude.
I want to see a picture right now.
Yeah, so I will post a picture.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's a fucking bat on your grill, dude.
Yeah.
Holy
Hang on,
shit.
Taylor. I'm going to undo the camera. Hang on.
Send
I'm
this shit
gonna
to
show
me,
you.
dude.
Can you see?
We're about to see right now on live.
Do you see it, Tay?
Hold on, I'm bringing it up. No, what? That is not smashed in the grill. That's a bat sitting on your bumper.
Yeah, it's like not dead there. It's like
there's no
chilling there,
blood
like-
anywhere. Yeah, it doesn't look dead.
Yeah. It was dead.
Wow,
Also, bats
that looks like a real bat. Just
Can
like
see
straight
so
up
well.
bat.
That's a real bat in Central Florida. No shit. Guys, I'm putting this on social media. I'm going to prove it. It's here. This is my justification. So,
It
the
looked
last
like
two
it was
pieces of the
staring into your
story.
headlight as it died.
Yes.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't make any sense because bats are like blind, but they like using echolocation. They do not. They don't.
What are the odds?
They don't run into things.
What are the odds?
I mean, they still see
It's
stuff
on
with
the
their
way.
eyes, though, right?
Yeah, but it's not good. Like at nighttime, that would be such a bright light. Like they would not fucking. I don't know. Anyways,
Yeah, the odds are crazy. So, as far as all the footage goes, because this was a hired job and we were contractors, we turned the tapes over to the lead ghost hunter. Many of the tapes that were turned over
we're empty.
were blank.
What?
Heard
Well,
that
maybe they were
story
bad at filming.
before.
Maybe they were bad at filming.
Yeah,
Like, let's
Burn.
record.
I hit record. I hit
swear to
record.
God. Do you hit
I
format
hit
too?
record. I seriously no. This is like DV. These were DV tapes. Like this was 2008.
Yeah. So
I mean, these were DV tapes.
That's weird.
Yeah, like all the footage. The footage was never released, and the ghost hunting show did not air again after this.
What?
It was done. They
So this was
they
like
disbanded.
the thing. That's weird to me. I feel like now that this happened, they want to go back. Like now that it's
Right,
crazy shit,
yeah.
they want to really revisit it.
Like that's
Right.
a win.
Like we do.
Yeah, they contact these ghosts. Isn't that's
Like
gold
there was a
mine.
show
That's what they're trying
where
to
a guy
do.
physically got scratched and like there's drawing blood all over his back and stuff. Like it was like a possession thing, and they never went back. That was creepy. They never went back because they, the cop left.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, no, they never went back to the haunted place. It was literally like it was like called the what's that, like a water hole with the bucket. What's it called?
A well?
Well, yeah, a well to hell. It was what it was called, and he got scratched.
Well,
they never
yeah,
went
baby.
back. They fucking burned the place down. And I'm like, that's the place you got to go to prove it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyways.
Yeah, go find the evidence. I want to.
Yeah.
See real.
It's like
ghosts,
saying,
man.
"Oh, we found an alien. Let's like never talk about it again." No, let's fucking talk about it.
Right. But it was insane to me that like this show had so much promise, and it was like, so the tapes are done, and all this shit happened, and now we're not going to do this anymore.
What if this is a figment of Nick's imagination?
It could be. It could be part of my solipsism.
You've never had this experience, Nick.
What?
How do you know you've ever had this experience?
I know.
How do we know you ever had this experience? There's no preserved proof that you did this.
I just showed you a bat on
yeah,
my
that could
car.
that could happen to any car. Any model of car you had. How do we know you did this, Nick?
Fuck you, it
Guys,
happened.
we should post
Yeah.
that
Okay.
picture of the bat on our Instagram or Facebook or something and have people tell us how the fuck they think that bat got there, because it doesn't look to me, it doesn't look like it happened
Like
while
it
you were
died.
driving. It looked like you parked
it just
and
landed
then
there
it
and-
flew onto your car and had a heart attack or something.
Yeah, it
It's
was
not
dead, 'cause
splattered at all.
I gave it a burial and all that shit. Yeah, there's no
Aw.
splatter, nothing. Yeah, I gave it a burial, but I was superstitious.
That was
as fuck.
respectful. Is it at your
yeah.
parents' house currently? Like that place?
Yeah.
In Orlando?
So
It was
get
West
this.
Virginia.
So yeah,
I wanna
so
dig
it
it
was
up.
our old house. Apparently, my dad was leaving for work in the morning, and he saw like the cross, and he called my mom out. And my mom knows how like easily skittish I am, and they thought it was someone playing a prank, and they didn't want to freak me out. So they took the cross out.
Oh.
Because they didn't want me to see it because they thought that I'd see it and like freak the fuck
But you
out.
made it.
I made it.
So then you came back out and it's gone. You're like, fuck!
Yeah.
What is going on?
I came out.
Dude, how crazy
I
would it be
came
if
out,
it was
saw
just
the cross
an empty
go.
hole?
Dude,
Right.
I'd be done.
Wow.
I would call somebody to have me get exercised. So then the last piece of the story, as far as the sharp pain goes in my shoulder that
Yeah,
happened, when I woke up and I got in the shower, I noticed I had a large bruise the size of a baseball on my left shoulder the next day. I have no idea where it came from.
But wasn't that from the sharp pain?
Yeah.
Did you run into anything?
There was nothing on the walls.
The
walls were empty.
Wait, what do you mean the walls were empty?
The walls in the hallway
but you-
upstairs on the second floor that I walked going to the room and then walked the same hall going out, there was nothing on that
hit
on the
anything?
wall. I hit something.
Well, a bruise is quantified as a broken blood vessel, like a burst blood vessel underneath your skin. You could have just had a ruptured vein.
Dude, I ran into I hit something that hurt.
All right. Well, how big was the bruise? Baseball?
It was about the size of a baseball.
Baseball?
That's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Did you talk to any of the camera guys or anything afterwards, your buddy, to figure out if they had anything crazy happen to them?
I mean, they saw the same shit I saw.
But like the next day, did they have any weird bruises or like bad or anything?
No. But like they saw the possession, they saw the supposed possession.
They're checking on this.
They didn't see the bat, but I showed them the picture the next day.
Like, Nick, I don't want to talk to you ever again. Like, get out of my life. You're essentially like
You're
cursed.
bad omen. Man.
I mean, it's not something we
follows
talked
you.
about.
I would have
we
been talking
didn't
about that
talk
shit
about it.
every time I saw these people. I would be. It seems like that'd be the number one thing you would talk about, right?
How do you talk about something you can't explain?
Well,
you'd be talking about it. You'd be like, "What?"
Yeah.
The same way we are now. Be like, "What the hell's going on? Did you really
yeah,
see that? Because I really saw that. Oh my god!" And you guys can cross-examine each other.
I think we were like we didn't really talk about it. But we were so frustrated over the point that the footage was gone, and we're like, okay, no one's gonna see
That'd
this
be
shit.
pretty shitty.
Like no one's like we literally have Emmy award winning television that's obviously very poorly shot by a bunch of 18-year-old kids who didn't know what they were doing, but like we had like Emmy quality ghost capturing shit. Like we captured the possession.
Well, speaking of
It's
Emmy
gone.
quality Emmy awards, Nicolas Cage has won an Academy Award.
Oh, really?
Really?
1996 for Leaving Las Vegas. And then in
Nice.
2003,
Holy
he was a nominee but did not win for adaptation.
Ooh.
Who's to say that the footage got deleted, Nick? Did you check?
We turned the tapes over, and when we asked about the episode,
That's the problem I'm seeing, because you could have turned over gold and their producer or somebody was like, this is incriminating or this is like bad. We're just deeming it. We're raising it right now
they're
and
calling
saying,
it lost tapes. Dude, not releasing
Well-
that footage is a disservice.
agreed, but they could have had to do it legally.
And these are people who had a cable access show who were desperate to try to sign a deal.
but imagine
What
this.
if
would've
that's
gotten
part
them-
of their arc, though? It's like, we had
Yeah.
this cable access show, this really big thing happened. We had to close down shop. 15 years later, we're releasing the tapes.
or
As a
I would
documentary
say
or something.
even less than that. I would say they showed it to somebody who were trying to sell it as a cable access show, and they were like, "Yeah, this is the people we had hired on. We had these 18-year-olds fresh out of high school, or whatever, and their lives were seriously injured. And people have lost shows for lesser evils than that.
Right.
That would be whack if that
imagine-
was the case, but I do agree with you.
That could
That'd be
happen.
totally whack.
Like, dude, companies censor TV shows hella fast, dude. Like imagining being like, I had this show and there's physical evidence. There's physical evidence of the life of basically a minor almost, being in danger. That's
They psychologically
Yeah, it's bad.
terrorized the crew.
anything could get misconstrued, and there was nothing that Nick signed. It just like that's all that would need to happen for
Somebody
it to be
blew
shut
on your
down.
neck, and that was sexual in nature. I would
Someone bruised his
thrown the
arm. That
book
was
at them.
physical.
Throw the
Yep.
book at him.
Be like, I want money. Lawsuit.
If there was a way to get money out of it, that'd be
It's-
tight. You inherit the whole town, that'd be cool.
It's just the whole, I don't know, man. Like, I still, listen, there's obviously some freaky ass shit that happened. I can't explain it to this day. Am I a believer 100%? No.
And that's what's so weird to me. Because I'm gonna rant here. Nick, you believe in some of the weirdest shit out there and have had experiences that I would say are less documented than that. Like Bigfoot, aliens. Maybe I haven't heard all the stories, but that is a full-length story of that seems like there's no other evidence needed. I feel like I am more skeptical than you guys at a lot of the weird aliens, mummies, Bigfoot stuff. Yeah. But I've had lesser experiences of paranormal, but I believe it's so much more heavy than you do. And you've had that crazy experience. You saw the bat, you got the bruise, you saw the seance, and you saw and you don't believe in it?
It doesn't exist. I don't believe in it. I don't want to believe in that shit, man.
yeah.
Why?
Out of sight, out of mind. Whatever. I find it crazy though, Johnny, that I understand. We talked about it before, like all this your belief in ghosts. I find it crazy that that's the one thing that you're like, yeah, I buy it. All these other things are pretty solid too, though.
No. I've had the experience.
Yeah. I haven't had any of these experiences. So based off that, I shouldn't believe in anything. I should be a nihilist. I believe in nothing.
Then why do you believe in Bigfoot and not spirits?
Oh, I'm not saying I don't believe in spirits. I think I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I do think ghosts. There seems to be something with what we call ghosts. Yeah, it seems to be something real. I think, based on everyone's experiences with them.
Yes, and before my experiences, how many experiences there have been? Maybe because I've been more surrounded by that environment of people who have experienced ghosts over Bigfoot. That's why I would believe in that first. It's because I've had those experiences with people that I trust. Like Nick right now. Yeah, totally. Your experiences, even though you don't believe in it, makes me believe in it more because I know and I trust you.
I don't say I don't believe in it. I just I'm skeptical, but like if that shit was real, I don't want to go back.
We got to. Because if you're
the thought process I have now,
let us go.
You fucking go. You guys can go. Both you can go. I don't want to go back.
We're probably just normal people who aren't going to channel these spirits.
What are you scared of, Nick?
I'm scared of if it is real. And
so
if it is
you're
real,
giving it a hint
I'm
of truth.
allowing it to be real, which therefore puts me in any sort of danger. And I don't want to be in any sort of danger.
But who knows if you'd be in danger, though? I mean, they just described that one guy as aggressive. He might not. I mean, he may be aggressive, but maybe he's not mean. Maybe he's not going to kill anybody.
That's like me saying.
I mean, like if ghosts exist, they don't forget. If I go back in there,
we're talking elephant ghosts now.
I'm tainted meat if I go back in there.
Yeah, your taint is meat. Okay, I feel like
gooch eaters.
The whole reason that you don't want to go back is your own validation that it's real. That's like me saying.
I mean, maybe. Like I can't listen. I don't believe in all of it. I'm just saying, I don't have an explanation for it.
Me either.
I don't. Like I have zero explanation.
To me,
but I know.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I walked away with a fucking bruise on my arm and a dead bat on the front of my car. Like that's enough shit to tell me, who I feel like I'm like a kind of an intellectual human being, to know when to not do things or to do things. And that's pretty like two surefire signs. Like, hey, you probably shouldn't go back to this place that caused these two things in your life to happen.
Yeah, there's negative connotations to go with that, but that's like me saying
there was nothing positive that came out of that.
But
a yes man would be like, well, that's the perfect time to say yes and just do it anyways. When everything, all your instincts are telling you no, then you do it.
I'd also say if I've had an experience with...
Yeah.
Sorry, this lag is killing us right now. I'm sorry, guys.
Damn, I'm trying to spit this out. I would argue that if I had an experience with Bigfoot, positive or negative, and I was like, I'm not going back because I had this experience, and that is me saying I do believe in it. And like the people out there, I kind of stereotype the old person, the old cooped up person in a home in Nevada or wherever who had an experience with an alien. They're like, no, it's not real. The government told me it wasn't real. It's not real.
Yeah, but that's different because there's not like if you saw Bigfoot and you had the same idea that I have, you're like, I don't really believe it, but fuck, I'm not going in the woods ever again. What, you're not going to go in something
No.
Like if you're afraid of aliens and you don't want to believe it, what are you going to do? Not look in the sky again? Well, I'm making a choice not to go back to the one place
you experienced it
that clearly has a history of fucked up shit.
So like I wouldn't go to the place where I experienced Bigfoot. I wouldn't go to the place where I experienced the alien crash. I'm saying though every anomaly, every mystical or like make-believe alien or mystical animal, you're not going back to that place. And by not going back to that place in your mind, you are validating and saying that you believe in it. The person that doesn't go back to the alien sighting is going back because they believe in it. So I find it hard to I don't understand how you don't want to go back and you say you don't believe or you because like that's all I would need.
Dude, if like a Tootsie Roll fell out of the damn sky, I'd go back in a heartbeat, but nothing good came of that. It was all dark shit.
But aside from you going back, you believing.
I'm on the fence. I don't believe in demons.
I mean, it was still an experience that you got to have that not everyone got to have. I mean, that's pretty special. I would want to try to do it again. You know, if it was indeed real and it had something to do with you being you or, you know, the mood you were in that day, I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. I would want to at least try again. At least do it for your friends, man. We want to see some ghosts.
That was 9 years ago, Nick.
I didn't see any ghosts.
You felt them.
I did. I heard. I felt. All that. It was a long time.
Experience their presence in any way. I dude, honestly though, everything you talked about though, it sounds to me like you got pranked. Like that's what it really does sound to me. I'm not counting out the fact that there could be a ghost there and that everything might have been real, but it sounds to me like it was a prank. I don't know.
That's true. And Taylor knows firsthand that I'm the first person to crawl into a crevice in a wall to experience some crazy shit. And we were in a place in Penhurst, Pennsylvania, or Philadelphia, and I had an experience. And right then and there, freaked me out, wasn't positive, but I want to go back to experience it again because I have to know. Even if it kills me, I have to know.
You know what I like is, just like at that Penhurst place, I wasn't like afraid, like, oh my God, something's going to get me. But we were in some of those places, I was like, there's fear there. There's like some fear. You know, that weird feeling, the
eerie
adrenaline's rushing. I don't know. I'm not saying I like being afraid, but it's a cool extreme feeling that you can't just have all the time. So, it'd be nice to experience it every now and then, even though it's like, oh, fear is bad. But I don't know. It's a pretty extreme feeling that's kind of fun to feel, I think.
If people could feel that about other things like Bigfoot and aliens and whatever, like, there'd be a lot more belief in those things, but it's not as easily found as that adrenaline rush of your senses being flicked on, or, you hear something, you see something, you feel something like Nick's describing. That is what makes paranormal so interesting to people.
Yeah. Exhilarating.
Yeah.
Let's do it, Nick. Let's do it. We could stay with my cousins and then go to Orlando.
Your family lives in
Daytona.
They're all in Daytona.
If it was a ruse and it was all Cassadaga is probably about 30 minutes from Daytona. It's very, very close. If it was all a joke, cool. Like, the people who did it, who pulled the prank, great. Like, good on them for doing it, for pranking some teenagers. Whatever. But this is the dude who was the lead ghost hunter, had his car wrapped and shit. He took this show seriously. It was a real deal. It was a show that existed. It was the real deal. I don't know why he'd go to a place like Cassadaga.
Yeah, what was his incentive?
To just basically fuck with these kids. Because I've literally I've spent all these years of my life thinking about it and thinking about the idea of what if it was a joke? What if it was me getting pranked?
Yeah, what if that was the show, And they fucked up, didn't get all the right paperwork or something.
Exactly. What if their point was to make a rouge and scare you into believing it was real, but they went too far or something went wrong and then they had to delete it? Everything makes sense that they pranked you. And
if that's the case, let's go back. If that's the case, let's go back.
You don't know it is, Nick. It's one or the other.
We don't know.
And I won't know.
So you got to go back or not go back. You got to make that up yourself. We're not going to put you there.
It's decided. We're going back.
I don't want to put anyone in a situation they're not comfortable, especially because that's going to ruin the event and everyone's vibes off.
Dude, it is uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable because if we go back, and if anything happens, if I see anything that resembles at all what happened 9 years ago, 10 years ago, whenever it was, if any of that shit happens, how do I move forward from that? How do I keep getting older knowing
There's a place?
Like, knowing that something that doesn't exist exists.
But that's how everyone copes with aliens and Bigfoot. Somebody who is a disbeliever.
Yeah, but like, I have my belief about aliens. Like, I believe in alien life, but I think Little Green Men is a fucking joke.
But what if somebody today said, like, proved aliens were wrong, or somebody proved religion was a different perspective than you thought it was? How would you go forward? You'd take that experience and you'd run with it. Now that you have that new set of found ideas, like I have a religion, I have my own perspective, but if I was proven wrong and let's say religion was just aliens, how am I going to move on? I move on with that information.
I almost guarantee you we'd start a ghost hunting show.
Yeah, you'll live with yourself. You thrive knowing that that's the truth. That now you fucking know. I sound crazy, but that's how
you would sound like a crazy person. You try and convince everybody, and everyone's like, "Nick, we get it, dude. You saw a ghost." And like, no, you don't get it. It was a real fucking ghost. You have to fucking drag people there.
But
and then all of a sudden, you're like the biggest salesman for Cassadaga.
They're like, you're hired. You're the new Colby.
The person who's a denier,
social media guy,
who becomes a believer, is the biggest advocate and is the most credible, I think.
Yeah.
Right, and that's how the snake oil salesman sells you the shit. Like, hey, you, sir, you bystander, what ails you? Why, I've got a bum knee, sir. Here, take this elixir. And he throws him the elixir, he drinks the elixir. Hoba, my leg ain't bum no more. And then after the crowd clears, the dude with the bum leg gets back in the snake salesman's cart, and they ride to the next town together. And they pull the con off somewhere else.
That's how they make sales.
You know?
Yeah, but that's only valid to people who are strangers. Nick would convince all of his friends who know he was a disbeliever previously, who now think he's a believer. Like, and I'll take it to a religious place. Like a person who is a set religion, who gets changed or has an affirmation and they change religions, to everyone they know prerequisite, that is very impactful to them. Something changed. Something happened. The same thing happens with all the other topics we talked about. Something changes. The people who know you and knew how you were before it happened, that is what changes, and they believe it's valid. So if Nick went back, either shit did or didn't happen, that would be extremely telling because I know who you are now. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense.
Fuck. Okay,
yeah, it makes perfect sense.
I
agree.
I want to go back to Penhurst. I want to go back to everywhere I've been haunted.
Yeah, I'll walk Penhurst all day, but like the thing is if you have that experience, when I walked Penhurst and went like to the attic and the basement where like they did like a little private tour, I didn't want to experience anything.
Really?
Because having the experience at Cassadaga like changed the way that I thought. I don't truly believe in it all, but I know that there's something that I learned the day of the Cassadaga Hotel, my experience there, that I didn't know before. And there was like a part of me, 27-year-old me, walking around Penhurst going, I feel uneasy being here.
Yeah.
Because like I have experienced something, whether it was a ruse or not. It's just like it's a weird thing, man. Like 20-year-old me probably would have gone back to Cassadaga. Like maybe. If I had friends who were really convincing me, sure. I'm 27 years old now. Like I'm getting older. I don't know how comfortable I feel returning to this place. Knowing what I do, I just don't know. I don't know if I had one experience that mirrored what I experienced back in whenever it was, 2009. If I had one experience that was almost 10 years ago that mirrored that, I don't know how I would leave Cassadaga and
return.
Just like go back to normal life.
Well, but I look back to and I'm not sure if you've seen that movie, Taylor, but and the knowledge of that.
I watched it like last week, the new one.
Holy shit, synchronicity. The concept is these kids, the lovers or losers or whatever, they know Pennywise is real, and after he goes into his slumber, they come back 20 years later, 27 years later, whatever the number. What wasn't that 27?
I think so.
I don't
That's
remember.
Weird.
I don't remember.
Anyways, a certain number of years later, to confront the very thing that scarred and almost killed them.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't have to. They did not have to, but they did it.
That's a movie, though.
Well,
it's still,
I don't know.
It fits.
I think you would do the same. If you're like, you know this is going to happen in your town. It happens every 27 years. No one else fucking believes it, but you experienced it. Your crew experienced it. You defeated it once. it's almost your duty to go back there and do it again.
And that time it's
kind
harder
of.
because they can't see it. Like, only one kid can see it now.
Yeah.
I think we're making Nick very uncomfortable. Like, I'm looking at you, and you not look like you're enjoying this.
No, I mean, like, it's fine. Like, it's
Like, you look like you're scared of the topic.
it's weird. I mean, it was spooky ass shit.
I'm sure it was. You
I
said
just wanted to
earlier
go
that
have a good time.
You love spooky ass shit.
I do when it doesn't affect me.
That's a very one-way street
I like
perspective.
to. I like.
He likes being behind the camera. He likes being the one who's doing the pranking. Man, it's a
like the reality of it is like I want it.
But
I
once
want
it-
it so
once it's there,
bad,
it
and I
sucks.
like the thrills of not experiencing it. But then when it starts happening, I want to get the fuck out. Like
There are a lot of
ASAP.
questions
Like it's
at
all
that
great.
point.
What if
is life,
Bigfoot you found out to be aggressive and you had an
Yeah.
experience and you're like, oh my gosh, Bigfoot's going to kill me? Would you not want to go back?
I don't know, man. Like I have my thoughts about Bigfoot. I don't think Bigfoot's gonna kill me. I don't think Bigfoot's out to kill me.
What if
If
he did?
Bigfoot was gonna try and kill you, and he was attacking you aggressively, and it was like not a me versus him because that's obvious. But I don't know. That's a dumb question. I don't know. I just have this stupid vision of like I've always had this. Like, yeah, if I ever get attacked by a bear or a shark, I'm gonna somehow kill it, and I'm gonna take part of its body and wear it on a necklace for the rest of my life because it tried to kill
hell
me,
yeah.
but I dominated it, which obviously would never happen because I don't know if I could fight a bear. But I don't know where that was going. I wouldn't want to kill a squatch.
Yeah, I
I
couldn't
don't know
kill
where that
Squatch.
was.
Let Squatch kill me.
That
I
was
would-
incoherent.
I'd kill a squatch. I'd kill a shark. Kill a bear if it was trying to kill me. Any animal that was killing me, it's fair game.
I think the idea of like Bigfoot and all that, like they're tangible things. Like if you believe in them, they are things that exist in front of you. There's something about a ghost or spirit or demon that's an
Spectre.
idea. Like it's literally an idea. It is a transparent thing that's an idea that can.
Yeah, that's kind of eerie. So
and
like,
that's
it's not a
scares
physical.
me more than anything.
It's not a physical creature.
Well, I don't know. I think we're talking about two different things now. At that point, it's either an idea, and it's not real. It's just it's imaginary, or it's a real phenomenon that's just not visible. Like a lot
But
of
I
other
think that's
things
what
that
Nick
aren't
is saying is
visible.
the creepy. But that's what Nick is saying is the creepy thing. Is that like if air was dangerous or was non-provable,
So many.
it would be scarier than obviously like Bigfoot because it's physical. Because like I understand that too. Because like
A
what
poisonous
do you do
gas that you
to
can't necessarily see. I mean,
Yeah,
they
yeah, yeah,
die of
yeah,
carbon
but, like,
monoxide
but-
poisoning.
What do you do
Right.
with poisonous gas? You wear a mask. What do you do with Bigfoot? You have a gun or whatever you need to just to overcome.
What do we do
that.
with ghosts? We go to Cassadaga
Exactly.
and we go over and over and we test our hypotheses, and then we figure out
what do you
we
do
can
to combat a ghost? You can't combat Patrick Swayze unless you have a pottery class.
Wait, aren't they?
True.
They're like
Ghost.
plasma blasters or something, right? You just can't cross the streams.
Isn't that Ghostbusters?
Yeah, and you trap them in the ghost trap.
In reality, what do you do with a ghost? And that kind of scares me a little bit because, like, I want crazy shit to happen with paranormal shit, but I don't have a thing to do with ghosts to fix it. People might have holy water or exorcisms or,
How would that
let's say
fix a
religious
ghost, though?
things.
I mean, that's just like
They wouldn't.
another crazy thought to fix that fixed a ghost. Why don't you
But
just throw
people say
sand at
that.
it? That's like the same shit,
Well, people
Who
say
knows
that,
how
I'm
you would
saying.
deal with a
Like,
ghost?
that's-
Who? I guess could be good ones, there could be bad ones. Some could be aggressive. Who knows what their purpose is? What if they're totally like ambivalent? Is that the right word? I don't use big words often, so I don't know. Like they're just like good guy. They don't give two shits. They don't want to hurt you. They don't want to help you. It's just like they just exist. And every now and then we cross paths on like, oh, what's visible in our dimension or experienceable, through our dimension or whatever.
Yeah, but then right then in that experience, since you don't know how to combat it. And that's the telling thing, is that even if it is good or bad or whatever.
But combat makes it sound like you're having to defend yourself, or like go on the offense, like hurt something. Like, what if there's no, it's
protect
not
yourself.
a fight, it's just like, hey, high
What
five,
if-
we're cool.
Yeah, but what if Bigfoot's not aggressive or he is? What would you do? You have a thing to do. Like, like there are things you can do.
Things
to
you could,
combat
if you had a
or-
gun or a knife or something, but I mean, you're not going to run from.
Yeah, what are you going to do with the ghost?
Nothing.
I have no idea. I have
no other-
idea.
no
But I
other
don't know if that's
creature-
scarier to me. I don't know. It's almost
I think
like
it is.
you would have to accept it, so it makes it less scary. I don't know why that
Yeah,
makes
but it
sense
could host
to me, but it does.
It could use you as a host and literally kill you from the inside out. And I think that's scarier to me. Like
that thought though, but
I
that
know how
is
to
an
t-
idea. You know, that doesn't seem to have any. That's not like based on
Right.
anything that's really happened that we know of. You know,
Well,
like that is just
from
an
what
idea.
Nick has said from his experience, that would be a reality.
No, because he didn't experience a ghost coming inside him and killing him. He experienced contact, possibly physical contact with the ghost, but it didn't seem to be aggressive towards him. It didn't hurt him.
I don't want that
It
shit
did bruise
to
him, I
happen to me,
guess.
though.
It did bruise him.
Yeah, I don't want the
Just
what happened to this
unexplained,
guy.
Yeah.
I don't want my eyes to roll back in my head and lose control of myself. Like, I don't want that to happen, but maybe that's the next thing that happens. Maybe I go back. I walk back in and I'm like, here I am. Let's do this.
Whoop.
I'm weaker than I was before. Let's fucking go.
Stronger than you've ever been. Stronger than you've ever been.
And then when it's inside, when the ghost is using you as a host,
you were going to say it when it's inside you. Go ahead and say it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was. But once it's, what do you do?
I think my biggest
I don't know
fear,
if that's something to be afraid of.
I think my biggest fear of revisiting Cassadaga is what I learned that night is that for a host for a spirit, a demonic spirit or spirit of any kind to attach to a host, a living host, it feeds off of weakness. And if I walk back into Cassadaga, I'm instantly going to feel fear because I'm going to remember that night. I am an all-you-can-possess buffet when I walk into Cassadaga Hotel.
I
I
like that.
100%, because I'm instantly, the moment we walk in, even if it's with you guys and I feel like, okay, and I'm ready to do this, the moment I step foot in that hotel, it is all right, he's back, let's fucking
But
do
the
it.
setting was with Penhurst, though. You walked in there and you were scared.
Yeah, but like Penhurst is half haunted house.
True.
Like,
but
sure.
what I'm saying is that, like, if you have a prerequisite, like, notion that you are weak and you are susceptible to being possessed, then everywhere on Earth, graveyards, haunted houses, anywhere that could have had a spirit, you'd be the first thing on the menu.
Right. That's why I don't go into haunted shit anymore.
Well,
when we did the haunted
but what
corn maze,
how would you know if it's haunted? It could just be a place that you've never been before and that other people don't know is haunted.
Exactly.
Right.
But it hasn't affected you in those places,
Because if Nick doesn't know that it's not haunted, he's not fearful and he's not weak.
Right. Exactly.
Maybe
it's the
he's not fearful about that exact thing. What if he is out there in the world and he happens to be afraid of something in some weird moment? You get afraid at some point.
Yeah, but this isn't Pennywise. He has to be afraid of the ghost.
Yeah.
We're really
all the lines
and
would
trying
have
to
to
put a
cross.
number on
Yeah,
it.
yeah, all the lines would have to cross perfectly. I guess for that situation to make sense. But there's only one way to cross all the lines, guys. And Nick, I'm sorry, we got to do it. We got to. I want to go.
If we can podcast in the hotel,
I don't know about that.
And we can mic ourselves and have some form of live stream.
Let's do it.
Everywhere.
I will return to the Cassadaga Hotel.
Dude, we're gonna have so many audio peaks. Like, you even know.
Dude, okay. The only thing that has ever peaked my sound device's mixer.
Yeah.
The only thing, dude, I've done gunshots with this thing, gunshots from several feet away. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, people. The only person to peak my input on my sound devices.
Atlanta, Georgia. He went, hey, folks, and literally, and it peaked it. I worked with that thing for weeks to figure out how to unpeak that freaking audio, dude. How did he do that?
I don't know.
And
I was almost proud of it, to tell you the truth. That's I clipped some audio, and I was proud of it.
Months later, I'm like, Taylor, he peaked that audio. He's like, I've never had my audio peaked. I'm like, oh, you fucking peaked it.
Like, Johnny, Johnny, you're confused right now. Let me double check.
You don't know what audio is. So I feel like if we did a ghost hunting thing, which we totally could, we have two camera guys and a boom guy.
Boom.
But we could totally do it. I know many places. We heard a place in Tennessee, Nick, recently that.
Yeah, there's Adams, Tennessee, which is the Bell Witch. The Bell Witch is a fantastic myth. Maybe we'll go there. But yeah.
Well, it makes me wonder about this place, though, you went there only once so far, and it was with a whole production crew. We'll go in a second time with a production crew. I want to know what. Can you just go to this place as just a person?
Got the chills. Sorry.
So like, is it just a haunted tour? Like if you were to go to this hotel it's right now, it's a functioning hotel.
It's a functioning hotel. But I will email and I will let them know who I came there with, the experiences I had, and that we have a podcast, and I'd like to return.
I mean, if it's a functioning fucking hotel room, we just get a room and do the podcast, not tell them anything. I think that would be key. Not telling them anything.
Right, because we can still wander the hotel.
Right.
We don't need a ghost key or a skeleton key for all the rooms. We just need to be. I'll ask for room 22. We'll book it for a day, a night. Because I'm not paying more than 2 nights for that shit. I'm getting the fuck out of there as soon as we're done recording.
Yeah, you don't want to give them the option to be like, we'll just tease them tonight. Tomorrow night, we'll get them. Nah, it's got
right.
One night, they get one shot to woo us.
Yeah.
I'm worried now. What if I go there and after my experience, I'm in your boat and I'm like, I don't want to.
You gotta live with it. You gotta live with it.
Man.
Yeah. All right, let's do it.
Tight.
Let's go. We did it, people. We did it. We're going. Yes. So now all
November?
we need is for you guys to give us some money via our Patreon account so we can make it on down to Cassadaga. And so we can.
Simple.
We'll drive. Taylor will pick you up on the way. We'll stay down there. I think it's like $50 for a room.
That's cheap.
Yeah, if there's anybody between Spring Hill, Atlanta, and Cassadaga, we'll pick you up. Come on with us.
Like Shia LaBeouf on his road trip.
Yep. We have any listeners on the way down to Cassadaga, Florida? We'll go in a weekend in November, and we'll fucking do it.
Nick, your energy from the beginning of this podcast has drastically changed. Are you feeling okay?
Feeling great.
Okay.
Looking a little ghostly, are you?
Yep, he is. He literally is scaring me. I mean, imagine this. We podcast in paranormal places or places that have had experiences and apparitions and anomalies. The amount of fear Nick and I have experienced in just however long we've been podcasting from a freaking cop car tells you how hilarious it would be for us to be in a room and have any crick, cranny, bump, anything that happens. We're going to freak the fuck out. That's Betzko's bump of the night slumber party right there. That's cheerleader party in high school. We're going to freaking pillow fight and pee ourselves.
Yeah, I feel like we'll go. We'll go in November. We'll plan a time. So in a few weeks we'll go. We'll go in November after the Halloween stuff settles down. I'll look into a room Monday. I'll look into booking a room 22. And we'll head out there. We'll podcast from in the room. Maybe we'll do a little live stream from in the room. And then just sort of run it all night. We'll just stay up all night. And
yeah, I know some people with EMF meters. We can get tons of really, really, really sensitive microphones and just put them around the room. And if at any point someone farts, we'll know if it's a ghost.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. I think if we podcast at 1 or 2 in the morning on a Friday, we just do the whole episode at Cassadaga.
I'm in
Let's do it. All right, let's do it. November. We'll go in November.
Nick and I are right now drawing slivers in our hands to become blood brothers. Taylor, we're here with you emotionally. We are all doing this as a pact.
All right, I'm cutting myself.
Oh my God! You gotta say it like that.
Blood brothers.
Why are you using a chainsaw, Taylor? My skin's so thick.
Blood brothers.
All right. Well, after all of this, I will return to Cassadaga in the month of November in 2018. And we're going to podcast from Cassadaga. It's going to be our first on-location podcast.
That's not true.
I mean, on location in terms of we're going to do it from a haunted place.
Yeah.
These ghosts are going to be sorry, bud. Make these ghosts
They're
pay.
going to be for what they've done to me.
I've played ping pong with Johnny before, and it's not easy. So these little ghosts are going to have a tough time.
Yeah, is there a physical people on the table there? Dude, I will play ping pong with the ghost. I kick his fucking ass. I love playing ping pong. Taylor, no, don't get yourself. Taylor, you beat me a couple times.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not bad at ping pong, but yeah, I think I only beat maybe we probably played a dozen games at least. I probably won 3, maybe.
It was also on a cruise ship.
Yeah, It was on a cruise ship. The lighting was weird. It was obviously windy on one side. Whatever. I got excuses for days.
Taylor, I think you're better than me. Nah, I don't. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you guys for taking the journey with us. If you have a hypothetical you want us to talk about or thought you'd like to share about today's episode, great news. You can shoot us an email at hybrothoughts@gmail.com. If you have any questions about today's episode and want to know more, I can go into more detail. I've kind of got into all of it, but if you want to know a little bit more,
I was wearing a red shirt and blue pants.
I can kind of dig a little bit. You can also reach out to us on Facebook at facebook.com/Hybrothetical Thinking for more content throughout the week. We're also on Instagram at Hybrothetical Thinking. Feel free to message us at Hybrothetical Thinking on Facebook. I'll also answer your questions on there. And the bat picture is live right now. So if you aren't on our Facebook page, head over to our Facebook page, and you can take a look at this picture of this bat on my
I'm going to do it right now.
I'm
going now. I'm going right now. I'm going to be the first one to like it. Come on.
Done.
Come on. Get there.
I don't like the way you're saying that in succession. Progression.
Cool.
Succession?
Well, we'll be back to our normal secondhand experience-based episodes next week. For the time being, I am not possessed, and I have been one of your hosts, Nick.
This body is possessed by Taylor Nelson.
I'm the easiest possessed Johnny Clark that ever been.
What?
I'm the easiest possessed. I definitely am the easiest possession. Like, if I were in a ghost place, I'd be possessed like that.
That's true.
Look at me, dude. Like, I'm possession. Like, I'm grade A meat.
That's true.
I'm ghost bait.
Yeah,
That sounds weird.
Ghost
bait. The power of Johnny compels you.
Bow ties and all.
All right, we'll talk to you guys next week. Until then, I've been your host. Sorry, I got possessed for a second.
No! All right, you guys take it easy.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye.